an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-
Here we go.
203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yeah, bitches.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Okay. For those of you who listen to this show regularly, I can promise you from the bottom of my heart, this is going to be a great show. Now, I'm going to fix this thing behind the scenes because apparently Facebook is not up, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. You can go elsewhere. Just go to reesontheradio.com so you can watch the show. We'll fix it during the first break. But I got so much stuff to get into today. I promise you, you will not go away dissatisfied with the Reese on the Radio program. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's just par. But I tell you today, we just got so much stuff. I'm going to try to do a little bit of local stuff, but there's just a lot of national news going on. And as a bonus, because I love you folks, we're going to do Negro nonsense a little early. We just have to. We normally do it on Thursday, but we got a lot of it, so we have to get into it. I can't wait a day. But today's opening monologue, man, I got to tell you, I hear these bozos screaming and hollering about this guy from El Salvador. What's his name? Kilmar Armando Abrego Guadalajara Consuego Garcia, whatever his name is. And this guy, according to judges and police and others, this guy is a member of MS-13. And everybody in the world is defending him. And I sit up here and I go, you know what? Why do people still trust the left? Why do people trust the left? When they get behind a guy or a gal, every time the left jumps to defend that guy or gal, they always end up eating crow. We always sit back and we laugh. And we go, yeah, remember that? Jussie Smollett, remember that? Hey, remember you guys were raving about Fonnie Willis? Now you got Letitia James. But of course, Kilmar Armando Abrego Consuelo Guadalajara Garcia, they're behind him now. They are making their entire case. They are going to make him the tool that gets them the midterm elections. Oh, but they couldn't have screwed up worse. We'll get to that. But since they're so in the we care about the family mood, I want to take them back through a short ride through history, less than 5 years. And I want to ask everybody on the left, are you really concerned about federal agents coming to people's homes, disappearing them and taking them from their families? Do you really care or not? In my view, I know you don't. You want to know why? Because you never seem to be outraged when there needs to be outrage. Let me give you a few examples. It's just a short ride through history. It's not that long ago. You don't have to go, oh, when was that? No. We don't have to go to the 1990s, to the early 2000s. No. We can go just a few years ago during the last administration. Let me throw this picture up on the screen for those of you who are watching online. That is a picture of 4 elderly women. Let me run through their names for you. Joan Andrews Bell. She was 76 when she got arrested. How about Jean Marshall? She was 74 when she was arrested. How about Heather Adoni? Age 59 when she was arrested. And Paulette Harlow. She was age 75. In order, Joan Bell got 27 months in jail. Jean Marshall, she was sentenced to 2 years in prison. She had 3 years of supervised release, by the way. Heather Idoni, the 59-year-old woman, she got 2 years in jail. And Paulette Harlow, 75, arrested for staging a protest. She got 2 years. All of these women staged the protest outside of abortion clinics, singing hymnals, I might add. They got federal charges on them. Federal charges. These women were hauled down to federal court. And don't forget, you lefties, you love bringing race into the picture. I'd like to bring up this black woman. This black woman's name is Beverlyn Betty Williams. You guys like families, don't you? Well, you separated this 33-year-old woman and gave her some 3 years in jail while she had a 2-year-old son at home. What did she do? Like her predecessors, she protested an abortion clinic. Yeah. She protested an abortion clinic, but she was separated from her 2-year-old child to serve years in prison. You didn't protest for her. You didn't even have to go to El Salvador. She was right in the country, but none of you stood up for her. You seem to care about family men in Maryland, but you never showed up for that young lady. And then there is the piece de resistance. Since you like fathers who take care of their kids, I'd like to introduce you again to a guy who is the father of 7. His name is Mark Houck, out of Pennsylvania. Don't recognize him? Doesn't ring a bell? Let me remind you of who he is and what federal agents under the Biden administration did to him, courtesy of Josh Hawley.
A Catholic pro-life demonstrator, father, was accused of disorderly conduct in front of an abortion center. The local prosecutor, the Philadelphia district attorney, who is a Democrat, a liberal, very progressive, declined to prosecute. There was a private suit that got dismissed.
Again, prosecutor did not want to charge him for protesting. Civil suit dismissed by a judge, Pennsylvania. How did the Biden administration respond? Here's how.
And then after all of that, your Justice Department sent between 20 and 30 armed agents in the early morning hours to the Houck's private residence to arrest this guy after he had offered to turn himself in voluntarily. Here's the photo. Once again, you can see the long guns. You can see the ballistic shields. You can see that they're wearing bulletproof vests. Let's take a look at the hardened criminals that your Justice Department sent these armed agents to go terrorize on that morning. Here they are at Mass. Here's the 7 children with Mr. Houck and his wife. In this early morning, they were all at home. Mrs. Houck has said repeatedly the children were screaming. They feared for their lives. You got these agents demanding that he come out. They've got the guns, she said, pointing at the house and at them. He has offered to turn himself in. And this is who you go to terrorize.
That's who they terrorized. They showed up at his house and terrorized him. Long guns, scaring his children. I didn't hear anybody protesting on the left. I didn't hear anybody advocating for him at all. No one stood up for him. I don't remember any of you mentioning it. I remember everybody on our side mentioning it. I know I mentioned it. That's what I love about being a Republican, because our emblem is an elephant, and an elephant never forgets. And it probably doesn't help that I'm petty. I'm real petty. Here's the other part, and this is the part that I really, really love about all of this. While people are running around defending Kilmar Armando Abrego Consuelo Guadalajara Garcia, we realize that Democrats have one singular problem when it comes to illegals. They allow them in the country and they don't even vet them, no matter how much we ask. It also turns out to be true when they're defending them. They don't vet them. The left likes to say, believe all women. Well, guess what? They should in this case. Because according to court records, Jennifer Vasquez, the wife of Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, has filed domestic violence protective orders against him. Not once, but twice. A year apart from each other. Once in 2020 and again in 2021. A protective order she filed. So while everybody is rushing, please get him back. Get him back. Go down to El Salvador and bring him back. While she's on stage with her newfound fame and her GoFundMe money, standing up on stage looking like a martyr. They took him. He's a good father. He cares about his keys. It turns out somebody's beating her. And it's the guy that your folks are defending. What are you talking? I don't understand it. Why would you not vet that? Why not look it up? Why get ahead of your skis on this? Well, you sit around here telling the rest of us, they're disappearing people. Sounds like we got the right guy. According to snitches and judges and police officers, homeboy is quite the citizen. Well, he's in Maryland, so he's on par with, people in Baltimore. Someone tried to suggest the other day that the police officer that arrested him, apparently he's got his own legal troubles, which absolutely recants or I guess dismisses anything about Kilmar Garcia. I guess because the police officer's got his own trouble, that anybody he arrested is now, I guess, allowed to go free. Well, if the police officer's past, or his present for that matter, is an indicator of who he is as a man, I would say Kilmar Armando Abrego Consuelo Guadalajara Garcia here should be measured by the same metrics. He abuses his wife, not once, not twice. Are we going to find out that there's far more to this abuse allegation? Is that what we're into now on the left? Are we just bringing back wife abusers, wife beaters? Is this really the guy that you're going to run around standing on? I doubt it. I doubt it. I know that a lot of you are sitting back and going, ugh. And you'll quietly start pretending that you never supported him. This story's going to get bigger. The vetting process has already begun. And sleuths like Andy No, who revealed this, congratulations to him, He is going to do what he always does, get to the bottom of the story. He is like me. Once he starts to see a narrative come out of the left, he knows there's more to the story that they didn't seek. And now we have this. We're going to find out more. And don't worry there, Kilmar Guadalajara Garcia. Just like they do always, Democrats are going to ban you. They'll drop you like a hot rock in cold water, my friend, real quick. They do not care. You are useful. You are a useful idiot to them, and they will bounce. So I don't get it. They should know better, but they don't. And I just want to play this for good measure because yesterday, we got a call from, of course, our good friend out of Hamden. He's so concerned about all of these people who say certain things, who then get deported out of our country while they have a visa. They say certain things about Israel. This was a Poetry Night for Palestine event in Dearborn, Michigan. Poetry Night for Palestine. And one of the, patrons of this event spoke to the media. Not the mainstream media, a Muslim outfit. And he got quite comfortable to talk about what folks in Dearborn in this event was really supposed to do, or at least their mission statement. You guys are going to bail on this guy, Khalid Mahmoud, real quick. And I told you, these folks aren't here to do anything more than to tear down the United States. Their free speech that you keep defending it. You're only assisting them by handing them the matches to which they'll use to burn down this country.
The message for the people of Gaza is going to be more of the message that should be sent to the people here, in that they have achieved victory. We haven't done anywhere near enough. And the people here, I promise you, we do feel ashamed. We do feel like we're not doing enough. We do feel like change needs to come, because change must come. And in the form that it must come is that this empire, the American empire that's been hurting our people since the beginning, the imperial Western powers that have been hurting our people since the beginning, they must fall. And inshallah, they will fall. And my message to the people of Gaza and the oppressed peoples across the world is that there are people here, both young and old, who are going to be willing to fight and are willing to put their lives and everything they can on the line to bring these empires down, because they must come down.
Yeah, a unified message from folks like Khalid Mahmoud. Empires like this must come down. And they have some very, very eager adversaries who are American citizens in college and universities across the country who say, yeah, that's right. It all needs to come down. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. These young people, they're easily influenced, especially by these folks. Seems romantic and sexy. We're going to take down the government? Sure, absolutely, we'll assist you. And what do you think is going to happen to every one of them? Especially like the gays for Palestine or the women for Palestine. As soon as they assist them in getting their Sharia law, the women will be sitting around and going, what do you mean I have to cover up? What do you mean there's no girls' night? Oh, we tried to warn you, but you know what? We don't know what we're talking about. We don't know it all. ATS, I'll address you on the other side of the break. I'm trying to finish my monologue. We got more news, more views. Negro nonsense coming up very soon. Got plenty of stuff on that one. I got a message that says that Carmelo Anthony's family is not spending the money on an Escalade, according to reports. I'll put a pin in that nonsense when we get back. So stick around for it. All right, it's Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
I'm Jenna Fisher.
And I'm Angela Kinsey.
And together we have the podcast Office Ladies.
Just because we finished rewatching The Office does not mean we're going anywhere.
Every Wednesday, we'll be sharing even more exclusive stories from The Office and our friendship with brand new guests. Plus, you can revisit all the Office Ladies rewatch episodes every Monday with new bonus tidbits before every episode.
So follow and listen to Office Ladies on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Coventry. Recently, my 82-year-old mother had a few falls and ended up in rehab. What we thought would be temporary care became permanent following an unexpected and fast decline. When we applied for Medicaid, it was overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. I contacted attorneys, but none seemed to really know this complex process. I will be eternally grateful to a family friend who recommended Attorney Allaire and the Allaire Elder Law team. From our first meeting, they patiently answered our questions, made sure to understand Mom's situation, then guided us, providing clarity, kindness, and compassion. When we were finally granted Medicaid to cover my mom's care, I felt a huge weight off my shoulders. We had been paying for her care, and were really starting to feel the pressure. I don't know how much longer we could have done that if the Allaire Elder Law team hadn't worked their magic. We would not have gotten to this point without them.
Compassionate counsel and proven results. AllaireElderLaw.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. Jose Morales took the stand in his murder trial today in Ansonia. He's the man accused of killing the mother of his toddler daughter in December of 2019. The prosecution rested its case today, and the defense began calling witnesses. Morales, the second witness called by the defense. North Haven police charging a man in a fatal stabbing. 40-year-old David Pagan is charged. Police say the victim was a 77-year-old man. Another person was stabbed as well. Officers calling it a domestic incident among family members. Lawmakers at the state capitol floating a bipartisan plan to lower electricity rates. Senator John Fanfara of Hartford says that Senate bill would cut rates by 20% immediately with more savings down the road. State Department of Education declining to sign a Trump administration DEI compliance request. The letter reads in part, quote, Connecticut remains committed to safeguarding state students against the effects of discrimination. A federal judge says he has found probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt of court for violating his orders to turn around planes carrying deportees to El Salvador. Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen arrived in El Salvador today to push for the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a man who was sent there by the Trump administration in March despite an immigration court order preventing his deportation. WTIC News Time is 3:31. Here's the forecast.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, mostly cloudy. It'll be windy and cooler with the high of 49. Breezy tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Going to be chilly with the low down to 37. Sunny, breezy, and warmer for Thursday, though. We'll be kicking off a warming trend that'll last right into the weekend. The high of 58 Thursday. Clear and chilly Thursday night with the low down to 32. Cloudy on Friday, a brief afternoon shower or two, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
From the WTIC 24-hour traffic network in Meriden, they're still working a three-vehicle crash on 15 North between exits 67 and 68N as the right and center lanes closed. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Connecticut hospitals care for more than just patients. They care for our workforce, creating 245,000 jobs. They care for our economy as the largest employer in Connecticut. They care for our communities, connecting residents to health screenings, nutritious food, and stable housing. And they care for our future, making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut. Learn more at caringforct.org.
Being injured in an accident can leave you feeling vulnerable and lost. You need a fast and fair resolution and a law firm that can protect you. At Brown, Payne, Dearest & Scott, our team of personal injury lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and will treat you with respect and dignity. If you've been injured, BPS lawyers are here to help. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Bruce Newman is responsible for the content of this ad.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203. 800-253-6203.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health.
1 minute.
We treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Marty.
I was a really grumpy guy, sleeping like garbage and getting older. The energy level was just in the toilet. And that was what led to me going in. I've been treated at Northeast Men's Health for low testosterone, coming on about 2 years now. Within a few weeks, I started noticing I was sleeping a little bit better. I definitely noticed a higher energy level, but the old man crankiness just went away. I'm able to stay really well organized. Nothing slips through the cracks. Having the T treatment is leading me to keep on top of my game. What I would say to any other guy that is in the same situation where they feel like they're dragging, just call Northeast Men's Health. You won't regret it.
Thanks, Marty. It's true. Low T therapy can dramatically change your life. Your initial appointment is only with the results in minutes. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Just when I do a show like this and I get everything set and ready to go. Audio sound bites. Of course, Facebook, unfortunately, is down. So I forgive me, folks. You're going to have to go in one of the other places, reaseontheradio.com. Of course, we're on, YouTube. You can go there and log in if you want to get into the chat room. And, of course, we're on Rumble, or at least I believe we're on Rumble. I don't see anything on there. But if you can't, that's where it's going to have to be. So I apologize for that. Nonetheless, go to the Odyssey app or Reese on the Radio or WTIC.com so you can listen to the show until I can figure this out. So I've got Somebody in the chat room. Yeah, see, there you go. Rumble's there. I have someone in the chat room who often comes on. I'm not sure who he is. I mean, he's not really revealed himself. He's come here a couple of times, and I appreciate him. Even if he is contrarian to, what I do. I don't, like I said, I hate echo chambers. I never have. I never will. And I love all of you. Those of you who agree with me, and I love it when you don't. But, I'm doing Negro nonsense today. 1, because I can. 2, because I find it hilarious. I just do. And I know it's controversial. It's part of the reason why I do it. Because, let me start off, just for ATS, who's in the chat room. Let me explain to you. When you tell people where your Achilles heel is, usually people will exploit it. Stop telling people where your Achilles heel is. Worst part, don't be a hypocrite about it. Let me explain. And I've done this before, so I have to do it again because for some odd reason, I have to give this education or this re-education, as I like to call it because the left likes that. I have to give this education to people in the so-called black community. You either are or you aren't a monolith. I know you are. Please stop telling me you're not. Negro nonsense is exploiting that sort of back and forth, that hypocrisy. Let me explain to you how this works. It's real simple. I know that I am black, but I am Reese on the radio. First and foremost, my personality, who I am, comes over these airwaves before you ever realize or even think about my race. What I think, how I think, and what I talk about, that stuff outshines anyone. Some people usually say, oh, and he's black. It's usually like people don't even think. It's like, oh, and he likes Nikes. It's completely this. Other people, it's the only thing that they identify with. It's the most important part of their identity. It's a fabric of who they are. Usually, in my view, these people lack substance. They have nothing redeemable about them, in my view. If you have to keep pointing out, because I'm black, I'm a black person. I think of it this way. As a black guy. Everything based upon the lens of your race. It means that you see things through that lens. There's nothing unique about you. You're just black. Well, hell, there's 48 million people out there just like you. How does that make you different? If you're just going to be black, what's the use? Of course you're going to get angry when I point out things like that. That's me exploiting it, the Achilles heel, if you will, making fun of it. We're all individuals. But when people do what I call typical nonsense within the African-American culture, that is what I'm exploiting. It's not like you don't hear me rag on there. I got stuff on Ned Lamont. Chris Murphy, I'm practically making my bread and butter here about Chris Murphy. He ain't black. I go after everybody. But I know you're not supposed to go after the sacred cow, the minorities. Especially as a black man, I'm supposed to protect them at all costs. For what? Who are they protecting? They ain't protecting me. They damn sure ain't protecting you. Go to the hood. Let's see whether or not they have that kumbaya moment when you walk around the corner and say, hey, look, a black guy. He's one of us. Protect him. That's not the case. Where's all the outrage when young black kids are murdered, die in the street? All the blood spilled all over Chicago. Huh? Where is it? In the Bronx, in Brooklyn. Where's all the outrage? Where's all the consternation? You're mad at me for saying words. Ain't nobody died based upon a word I said. There's never been any blood spilled on the ground because I've done a Negro nonsense segment on WTIC. No one's ever bled out. But real people are out there bleeding out. The reason why, and I said it before and I'll say it again, the reason why you go after me is because I care about the sanctity of life. Of course you can go after me. I don't shoot. I've got no reason to shoot you. I've got no reason to hurt you. The thing that you're concerned about are your feelings. But when real people die, you say nothing. When real children are extinguished, you say nothing. You see, that's where I rest all of my quote-unquote Negro nonsense and my consternation of BS on the show. I rest on that. That's how I sleep well at night. The fact that you can show your outrage towards me, but say nothing when there's real carnage happening in the street, when babies are dying every day. And not just on the street, in the womb too. You got nothing to say at all. So until you start showing that, the same effort, the same vigor that you do me, I don't care. I'll never care. You won't bully me into silence. You won't make me feel bad about it. I look at it and I smile. Now, you want to give me a holler and talk about all the kids you're saving on the streets. If you want to give me a holler and tell me about all the kids you're taking off the street out of the gang culture, you want to show me the lives that you're saving out there, don't waste my time about a little segment called Negro Nonsense I do once a week. You're boring me. I'm not trying to fit into your club. I don't care about your club. I want nothing to do with your club. Any club that sits idly by while children are being murdered, killed, in the womb, outside the womb, while ghetto personified is being celebrated in your music, you can't touch me. I'm untouchable. So please, with all due respect, let's move on. Find some other patsy that might be influenced by that rhetoric. I've been around for too long. And if I may say, I'm being treated quite well over here. And all that stuff about saying that people look at Reese on the radio and might think that I'm a DEI hire, so what? What people think about me is none of my business. It's what I think of myself that matters. You see, I have a strong sense of self. I know who I am. I know what I've been through. I have a very, very good outlook on life, and I know who I am, and I am confident about who I am. It has never been dictated by you or by anybody else. I'm really, really stuck on how much I love myself. And that's all you ever need. Love yourself, and others will follow. I really do love myself. Sometimes, according to my wife, a bit too much. But I do. Not trying to win any awards, not trying to be everybody's friend or pal, who I hope they don't hate me. Don't care. Those who love me do. Those who don't, okay. So if there are people who think that I'm a DEI hire, that's their business. I know better. I'm well aware of my talent. Well aware. Now, to the phones we go. Let's get Nick in Ellington in here. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, how you doing, Reese?
Pretty good, sir.
I just wanted to tell you that I am so glad that you are on the radio. I love your show. I love you.
Thank you, boss.
Something, I swear to God, like if I read or see something in the morning that aggravates me, when I tune in, you're covering it, and I love that. And
thank you.
I just wanted to say, welcome you. I'm a little late, welcoming you to Connecticut or whatever, but I just love your show and just keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Thank you. I do appreciate it. And listen, let me tell you something. What you just said, Nick, is very important to me. I try to explain that to everyone that I get, trust me, and you're not one of the people on Facebook. Please friend us on Facebook if you can. But a lot of people, they send me stories that, they're interested in or something they may have seen. And they'll send it to me and they'll go, hey, Reese, did you see this? And sometimes I laugh when they do. I go, come on, guys. I promise you, I'm doing this job well, and I'm doing it for you. I promise you I'm on the ball. But I appreciate them letting me know because they don't want me to miss anything. Yep. They want me to be on top of it. And I used to take it as, well, what did they think? I'm not on my job? But I realize it's not that. It's that they are in tune with my kind of like news gathering. So it's always welcome. Exactly. So I appreciate the fact that you said that. When you see something on the news, you know that Reese on the Radio is going to cover it.
Exactly. Yep. And you must have a crystal ball because your predictions, even going back to Kamala Harris and why she was put in and why she wasn't going to win, you're right. You got to give you credit where credit is due. You're always right. It's freaking scary, man.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. Sometimes I'm a little scared myself, dude. I promise you. Sometimes I'm a little miffed, which is crazy because that's part of the thing we're going to do today. Was something that I predicted almost 4 weeks ago with the Letitia James story. I've got the audio for that as well, so stick around for that.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. All right. Let me go one more. Let's go to Mike in Plainville. How we doing, Mikey?
I'm telling you, I'm driving to the gym this morning, and I hear the great sociopathic idea of John Fonfara. We're going to lower your utility rates by 20%. Really?
Yo, wait a minute, Mike. Do you know who was?
With that? There's a little something wrong with that statement.
Do you know who was on MSNBC this morning talking about energy rates and taxes? You will not believe this. Let me play this for you because I knew I was going to get to it. I was going to make it. I was going to make it part of the stupidest thing I read today, but I got to play it now since you brought it up.
I could already guess who it is.
You know who it is. Listen.
Bring it down to size for us. Explain how these tariffs are impacting the residents of Connecticut.
First of all, we're a big aerospace state, so when you put tariffs on aerospace parts, we get $3.5 billion come down from Canada. That costs a fortune. When you put a tax on hydroelectric power, that's going to drive up the price of electricity for our homeowners. If you want to put a tax on pharmaceuticals, that's going to drive up the cost of pharmaceuticals, generic drugs for people. So tariff is a 6-letter word for tax.
Yeah.
And there's a big tax on the people of Connecticut and America.
Can you believe this, knucklehead? Tariff is a 6-letter word for tax.
Thank you for redefining the word tariff.
Exactly. I'm like, dude, you know what's a 3-letter word for tax? Tax. You guys just signed into law a tax to go after 2 ounces of sweetened drinks per unit.
Yeah.
It's
He's
like
going after nickel bags of marijuana, nickel bag Ned, it doesn't end. And I'll tell you what, I wish. I'm 7 years old. I'm glad I grew up in the era that I did because you had to go to school. You had to attend class, get up on time, do your homework, pass your grades, play some sports, be a regular person.
Yeah.
Now, it's what, I don't like the name of this organization. I don't like him. I don't like that. They're good. Oh, it's really convenient in life to change names to everything you don't like. Coward. You got a bunch of cowering little... I can't use the word.
Yes, don't use the word. Let me go to a break, Mikey.
A bunch of crybabies.
God bless you, man. I appreciate you. We got to take a break. We'll be back. More news, more views. Again, this Letitia James story, yours truly, back on March 20th, I predicted this story was going to go somewhere, and we'll play the audio to prove it, okay? If you can't get us on Facebook, folks, you got to go to Rumble. You got to go to YouTube. Unfortunately, both of those are down. All right, so you can check it out. And we'll be back, so stand by. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Warmer weather is on the way. Is your AC ready? Don't wait until the first heat wave. Call the Bee and get your AC tuned up for as low as $99. A professional AC tune-up keeps your system running efficiently, helps prevent costly repairs, and ensures you stay covered under your manufacturer warranty. Visit callthebee.com. That's call.b.com to schedule your AC tune-up for as low as $99. Call the Bee Connecticut Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Professionals. Call the Bee. We'll be there and we'll be fair.
At Ayala Home Services, we handle hundreds of well water problems a year. We believe hearing your options to get water flowing in your house shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free estimates for wells with no water. Plus, get your water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted well professionals at Ayala Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, ALO, call for details. Licensed for safety. P10277688, D10401465, E11856643, S33086999, HIC 628926, SM304646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Living with chronic joint pain is kind of like getting comfortable on a cactus sofa. You're like, what are you talking about? Well, it never feels good, and it's never going to feel good. So if you want to do something about that this spring, especially when it comes to doing the things you love, whether it be golfing, hiking, tennis, or just walking, I want you to know something. The medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Connecticut are on it, and they're focused on finally getting you the relief that you need. They've already treated thousands of patients around the country and here in Connecticut as well, whether it's your hips, knees, shoulders, back, whatever. QC Kinetics has solid science. They give your life back without surgery, without drugs, and without downtime. It's really incredible stuff, and they have 3 offices here in Connecticut, Glastonbury, New Haven, and in Avon. The consultation's totally free, so if you're sick of doing nothing, do something and talk to them. If you're thinking about doing something like surgery, call them now. 860-440-PAIN. It's 860-440-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics, located in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. That number again, 860-440-PAIN.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
The following heartwarming yet informative scene is brought to you by Trust and Will.
Son, your grandpa and I used to work on this car together, and when I'm gone, I want you to have it.
Wow. Thanks, Dad. Doesn't count. What you need is a will. Luckily, Trust and Will makes it easy. Designed by attorneys, but customized by you, you can easily create a state-specific, legally valid document that actually counts. Now, let's let the engine do the talking, am I right? Start your will at trustandwill.com. Use offer code COUNT for 20% off and make it count. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. For details, see trustandwill.com.
It's Reese on the radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
So, of course, as I was saying in the last break, that I get these links, to stories, because it's like, here's another angle to the story. So I just got this link from TMZ saying that Carmelo Anthony is not using the GoFundMe or GiveSendGo money on all of these lavish things that his parents are supposed to be buying, like cars and a $900,000 rental and all this other stuff. And it's funny because you read the story and all it says there's no confirmation that he didn't. They're just saying there's certain parameters that you have to follow on some of these crowdfunding sources. So there's nothing concrete that says, it's not being used. Well, that isn't the argument here. And I'll make some do about this or some hay about this later on. So pay very close attention because, again, this is okay. I just want to make this clear before I go any further. And I don't say this to be dismissive. It is not your job as listeners of this show or any talk show for that matter to do research. You are not the producers at MSNBC or CNN or Fox News for that matter. That's not your job. You gather the news that comes to you. And sometimes it comes to you at breakneck speed, and you just receive it. And you'll see it, and then you'll share it. It is my job, always my job, especially when I'm on this microphone, to vet it. It is my job to do that research. Why? Because as we just established on the phone, is that I'm usually making predictions on the show. I never wanted to be that guy. But I started opining about things, and then sure enough, I ended up being accurate. I don't rest on it. If it's not something that that really comes to me or it doesn't make sense to me, I won't make a prediction about it. But usually when I do, I try to be, and I'd say at least 9.5 out of 10. I'm on point. The reason why I vet it is because I've been wrong in the past. Okay? I was really, because I didn't care. I, like you, treated it like I was just receiving information and I was reporting on it. I don't like doing that. I hate that. It's embarrassing when you're wrong. And some people don't have at least the decency to apologize when they are. I do. So I try to be wrong, few and far between. I told you guys that these crowds that were showing up were paid for? I delivered the evidence. I told you that Kamala Harris's campaign was a joke. It turns out I was true. I told you Barack Obama and Michelle Obama did not want to endorse her. Turns out I was right. Okay? When I come out here and I say something, I'm always going to back it up with the evidence. It's what I do. So you can trust me. But the best part is that I don't take it for granted and I earn it every day because I know I have to. Okay? Now, two men you can trust with the weather and traffic, Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. How are we doing today, sir?
We're doing good, Reese. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you and to everyone. And if you're making your way into Hartford on the southbound side of I-91, look for some slow traffic from exit 35 A and B down to the 84 West merge at 32 A and B. And once you get south of downtown, a little tap of the brakes down by exit 28. You'll slow again, approaching 19 to 17 in Meriden for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Northbound 91, some slow traffic as you move between 15 and 16 in Meriden. Also, look for some slow traffic on the Parkway northbound in Meriden between exits Miller Avenue and exit 67. Earlier accident up by exit 68 N&E has been cleared out of the way. Now, if you're westbound 84, you've got delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge at 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound is tight, 46 down to the Bulkley. 291 through 84 okay east of the river. Into Middletown, 9 northbound, you're slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. Heading into Waterbury, a little tight. 84 westbound, 22 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Danbury, slowing by 5. Again, 84 eastbound, slowing, approaching exit 10 to 11 in Newtown. And delays again. Looks like we have an accident between exit 15 and 16 in Southbury. So you've got delays back to the Rochambeau Bridge behind that. If you're heading down in toward New Haven, 91 in the Parkway, both doing very well. 95 southbound, slowing 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, mostly cloudy. Going to be windy and cooler with the high of 49. Breezy tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Going to be chilly with the low down to 37. Sunny, breezy, and warmer for Thursday, though. We'll be kicking off a warming trend that'll last right into the weekend. The high of 58 Thursday. Clear and chilly Thursday night with the low down to 32. Cloudy on Friday, a brief afternoon shower or two, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. Jose Morales took the stand in his murder trial today in Milford. He's the man accused of killing the mother of his toddler daughter in Ansonia in December of 2019. Prosecution rested its case today. The defense began calling witnesses. Morales, the second witness called by the defense. He testified to using drugs during the period leading up to Christine Holloway's death.
I got disoriented. Everything got blurry. I couldn't see clear. I was stumbling. Sort of like, it's like taking a gallon of vodka and drinking it in one shot.
Couple's 14-month-old daughter, Vanessa, disappeared around the time Holloway was killed and has not been seen since. A federal judge says he could hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt for ignoring his order on deportations.
Judge James Boasberg says the criminal contempt comes after the administration refused to turn around planes carrying deportees to El Salvador. White House Communications Director Stephen Chung says the administration will appeal and that the president remains committed to ensuring that, quote, terrorists and criminal illegal migrants are not a threat to this country.
Correspondent Linda Kenyon. Senator Chris Van Hollen flew to El Salvador in hopes of winning the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was on one of those deportation flights. Back here, state lawmakers have unveiled aspects of a bill that they say will lower high electric bill costs in Connecticut. Democratic Senator John Fonfara of Hartford on the Energy and Technology Committee says part of it addresses an old supply system.
The system is antiquated. It was never designed to handle 80% of all residential customers who remain. So in this room, probably 80% of you remain on standard service, whether it be Eversource or UI, and you're all paying more than you need to, all of you.
Republicans present at that press conference say they were hopeful more of their ideas would have made it into the plan, but generally support what is in the bill. Lawsuit by the Trump administration against the state of Maine.
The Trump administration is suing Maine's education department for not banning transgender athletes in girls' sports. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Maine's leadership has refused to comply at every turn, so now we have no other choice. We are taking them to court.
Maine's governor says this has never been about school sports or the protection of women and girls. It is about states defending the rule of law against a federal government bent on imposing its will.
CBS's Cammie McCormick. Man's under arrest in North Haven in connection with a fatal stabbing on Tuesday. Police say they were dispatched and responded to a Pleasant Drive residence just after 8:30 p.m. on a report of a domestic incident involving a stabbing of one victim. Following a stabbing, one victim was found outside with non-life-threatening injuries. Another person reported to be in the house. The third stabbing victim, believed to be the suspect, was found on a nearby street. He's identified as 40-year-old David Pagan of North Haven. The deceased individual, a 77-year-old man. Police say the incident involved family members. Pagan's charged with murder and assault, being held on a $2 million bond. With budget cuts plus a new state funding, a $30 million deficit within the Hartford public school system is down to $6.7 million. Now the Board of Ed is formally asking the city to cover the gap. Without the money, services will be cut further, says Board of Ed member Shante Brody.
We have to do away with our programs that are specifically to keep our ninth graders on track. We also have academies that when they get off track, to get them back on track to graduate, that will be no more.
Middle school athletics would be cut, and Brody says staff members, including several assistant principals, would be let go. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow lost nearly 700 points. NASDAQ down 516. S&P down 120. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Progressive Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Terry's Tiny Homes, Terry! Sure, as the only employee of her company, Terry was probably the front runner, but saving money getting personalized discounts with a commercial auto quote from Progressive, well, that gave Terry the edge. Over Terry.
Terry, Terry.
Keep awkwardly chanting your own name, Terry. You deserve it. Woo! Be your own Terry. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
It's tax season. By now, we're all a bit tired of numbers, but here's one you need to hear. $16.5 billion. That's how much money in refunds the IRS flagged for possible identity fraud last year. Now, here's a good number, $100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second if your identity is guaranteed. Save up to 40% in your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit lifelock.com. That's lifelock.com, promo code CLAY. Terms apply.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
I'm still looking up this thing and still can't figure it out, but whatever. It doesn't work today. It doesn't work today. We got plenty of news and plenty of views for you coming up as well. Don't forget, you should check out our good friends over here at Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. If you buy a Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich, $1 will go to our other good friends over at Friendly Hands Food Bank. Or if you could just donate to Friendly Hands Food Bank as well. But we want you to get a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We'll get to the phones coming up in the next break as well. Also, our last but not least caller of the day will win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. You can go to any of their locations in South Windsor, Manchester, and Vernon as well. And I think, we're going to see how well we do this month. We've got, we're pretty much in the second half of the month because it's peanut butter and jelly month at Between Rounds. So we got that this week. I'm still trying to get this interview done. I have to pre-record it. I have to work on the date. Actually, I did something. I rode my bike 6 miles yesterday by myself. I had some headphones on, and I just took a nice leisurely ride, 6 miles. There's this bike path over by the house, and it's all level. There's no uphill anything, and I just went out. Do you bike ride at all, Roland? I think even the slightest.
I do not.
You do not, okay. If anybody knows like what seat cushion is good for a bicycle, if you could send me some of those, I'd really appreciate it. Send it to me at Facebook, if you can, to tell me exactly which ones to get. Because I'm not going to lie, my tuchus is hurting quite a lot. I have the standard seat on there, and I tried the whole time I was riding yesterday. I go, how do those Lance Armstrong guys do it? Like, do they not get like a kind of a callus, if you will, on your rump doing that? I don't know how anyone can do that for long periods of time. And I'm sure that there's got to be some aerodynamic, some scientifically designed seat cushion that these bike riders buy so that it's not so arduous on your rump.
Yeah, those guys don't sit much though.
No, I see them all the time sitting there. They know where they sit. Let's get to the weather and traffic. Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. You don't know where to get those seats, do you, Mark?
No, but I can tell you that the more you ride, the more your backside
is going to get used to it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
I don't
so
know if it gets callous or what, but
right.
You get used to it.
So technically, I'm fresh tuchus right now.
Exactly,
so
that's what you got. You got
I've
fresh
developed
tuchus. You need what's the word? You need petrified tuchus.
Okay, petrified tuchus.
And then you'll feel a lot better. Okay. You'll feel a lot better. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, be on the southbound side of 91.
Yeah, I don't know if I want that.
From 34 down to 32 A and B. Again, another little bump down by exit 28 Hartford Weathersfield line. More slow traffic in Meriden as you approach 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound 91, a little slow 15 to 16 on the Wallingford Meriden line. And again, you'll see some slow traffic northbound Parkway, Miller Avenue up to exit 67. Traveling on the westbound side of 84, some slow traffic approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound's a good ride. Farmington out into Vernon. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound's looking good. Glastonbury into Marlboro, no problems. Middletown 90 in the Aragoni Bridge. Slightly slow, 84 westbound. Waterbury 22 to the Mixmaster. Look out for an accident in Southbury on the eastbound side of 84. Between exit 14 and 15. Looks like delays are back to the Rochambeau Bridge. Behind that, also some slow traffic, 84 eastbound in Danbury by 5. And again, some slow traffic, 84 eastbound in Newtown, 9 up to exit 10. South 95 in New Haven, slowing 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
The W.I. Clark Company, now 100 years strong. Find us at wiclark.com. 100 years ago, W.I. Clark started out with a mission: sell superior construction equipment backed by quality parts and service. Today, we represent brands like John Deere, Wirtgen, and Leeboy. The W.I. Clark Company. Find us at wiclark.com.
WTIC weather.
Bro, get yourself one of those cushy beach cruiser bike seats. I mean, seriously. But I think some of those guys actually have like some padded rump shorts. I could be wrong, but I think there's some extra padding in their shorts. But I digress. Partly cloudy, breezy, chilly for us tonight. The low down to 36. Sunny, breezy, milder as we head into Thursday and the rest of the week for that fact. The high up to 59. Clear, cold Thursday night, the low 33. Lots of clouds on Friday. Breezy in the afternoon with a brief shower or two, but the high up to 65. Nice day Saturday outside of a couple of showers. Clouds with breaks of sun. Breezy, warmer. Pollen levels going to be through the roof Saturday. The high up to 77. Partly sunny, breezy. Not as warm Sunday, but still nice. The high 67. Right now, 45 in Waterbury, 46 Danbury, 50 in Bridgeport. Also 50 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune into the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
You ask a lot of your liver, so give it the support it needs with Active Liver. Go to NordicUSA.com, Amazon, or ask for Active Liver at your local CVS. New you, new Nordic.
Hey, how'd you get your water heater fixed so fast?
Ayala Home Services, same-day plumbing. I gave them a call, and they had a plumber on their way. They even sent the plumber's real-time location, so I knew when they would be here.
Did you say same day?
That's crazy.
If you need same-day plumbing, call, click, or text today and say hello and yellow. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776888, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Did you hear? A recent stash of $10 gold Liberty coins from the 1800s has been found. These gorgeous gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck in the late 1800s. And less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this gold find an incredible opportunity. Call 1-800-969-0686 and you are guaranteed a $10 gold Liberty coin minted by the U.S. Mint in the 1800s. But with extremely limited availability, you must call now. These gold Liberty coins from the 1800s are still in uncirculated condition. That is history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-969-0686. Call now and you'll receive a free American Coin Collector's Bonus Package, a $40 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-969-0686 now to secure your $10 gold Liberty coins dated from the 1800s before they sell out. That's 1-800-969-0686.
President of the Chris Murphy Fan Club, Reese on the Radio, on News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Damn right. Whitey, get it too. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080, WTIC. Let's get to the phones. Let's get everybody on the phone lines out here so I can get into the rest of the show because I got so much stuff to get into that I have prepared. But the phone calls must be taken care of when they're called in. Let's go to Dave in Branford. How are we doing, Dave?
Well, Reese, I do all right. I'm a little grumpy about the new tax on soda.
Yes, why not?
I am not a heavy guy. I am a perfect shortstop, 160 pounds.
Not bad.
And we drink soda. We drink soda occasionally, for holidays.
Sure.
My guests expect it. And when we have pizza, we get soda. And the 2 cents per ounce sounds very benign and very small. And I am disgusted with the way it's being promoted, and they're lying about it. So I won't disappoint you. Yesterday's New Haven Register, a story by Ken Dixon, mentioned numerous times a tax on sugary beverages.
Right.
An implementation of a sugary drink tax. Health detriment of sugary benefits. If we see sugary drinks banned from the federal benefit, because Trump is thinking about not letting you buy soda with your SNAP
That's
fund.
correct.
So the point is, it is not a tax on sugary drinks that will give you diabetes or gain you weight. It is also a tax on the non-sugar, zero-calorie, the diet drinks.
Correct.
It is a flat-out tax on soda of all kinds.
That is correct.
Why are they continuing to hide behind this? It causes diabetes. It causes weight gain. Well, the sugary stuff does, but they're taxing all the soda. And here's the point that we need to make. It's $1.35 on the 2-liter big bottle of soda.
Correct.
Reese, the soda I buy, I buy the cheap store brand.
Right.
It costs me 99 cents for the 2-liter jug. And if I buy the middle grade soda like Polar is a brand, those are 2 for $3, $1.50 a bottle.
Sure.
The tax is going to be higher or equal than the price of the product.
Correct.
That is outrageous.
And don't
That's
forget,
outrageous.
you brought up a very key point about the SNAP program provision, or at least the prohibition, I should say, in the SNAP program for sugary drinks, right? So if you're a welfare recipient of any kind, you cannot buy that soda. You can't buy those sugary drinks on the SNAP program. And as I mentioned before, when you and I talked about this before I took your call last time, you remember what I said the beverage industry is going to do, because the tax is not going to the consumer or to the store. It's going to the distributor, who will then exactly. They will
the wholesaler
increase.
will collect it. The volume is going to go down, and your point was the tax will double because they're not getting the money they thought.
And if the SNAP program thing actually happens, they'll be forced to have to increase that rate from the 2 cents to possibly 4.
Let me make a final quick point, and I'll end. It's kind of a joke.
Yes, sir.
When Hyundais get stolen, it's not the crook's fault. It's the Hyundai because it's not good enough's fault. When guns hurt people and street violence, it's the gun's fault. It's
Right.
not the juvenile who's the trigger man.
Right.
And when certain foods make you fat, it's the food's fault that
Mhm.
you're fat.
Exactly.
My suggestion is, instead of taxing a food that everyone buys, fat and non-fat, I am not fat. Why should I pay the tax? Why don't we just directly tax the fat people?
Right.
We'll call it the fat guy tax.
Actually, no, we'll just call it the fat tax. And I agree with you. That's exactly what it should be called, the fat tax. You're 100%
You
right.
have a good Easter if I don't get a hold of you,
You
before,
got it.
before. Bye.
Thank you, Dave. Dave in Brantford with the New Haven report here on Reese on the Radio. I always rely on him. He's fantastic. Jim in Wellington's on the line. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. I'll tell you what, 2% on soda. Okay, what's to stop anybody from saying 2% on anything you buy?
Correct.
Based on whatever reason they want to come up with.
Correct. And I think that's the
come up with
part.
any reason.
That's the crazy part about all of this is no one is taking into consideration what Dave and I were just talking about is, they wisely went after the distributor because they knew, and that you can't ask anybody in legislature because they'll never answer it. Did you take into account that the distributor, knowing that they were going to lose volume in sales, that whether or not they were going to increase their prices to make up for that tax? No one even thought about it. No one even asked.
Yeah, and then another thing, just off that subject, if you don't mind.
No, you're good.
This senator from Maryland that's going down to El Salvador. I'll tell you what, this guy can travel 1,800 miles to
El Salvador.
represent an El Salvadorian citizen.
Yeah.
But he can't bother to drive 45 or 50 miles to go see the woman whose daughter was destroyed.
Yeah.
Whose family was destroyed.
Yep.
And isn't it interesting that the left continues to advocate for the possibly worst among us, or the worst policies put forward? And never do they stand up and say, hey, we screwed this up. We were wrong about this. We were wrong about that. You could pick any subject, and see who the left is advocating for. And I'm talking about the loony left.
Yeah.
While the quiet left sits there and lets it happen.
You know the old saying, right? Evil persists when good men do nothing. That goes for the left, too. Did you hear this story? I don't know if you heard the opening of the show, but this Kilmar Garcia guy, again, with Van Hollen going down to El Salvador to seek his retrieval. We just got a report from Andy No, Fox News has already confirmed it, that this guy Garcia has abused his, wife, Jennifer Vasquez, once in 2020 and again in 2021. She got a restraining order.
I did hear that. I did hear that on your show in your opening there. I did hear that. And it's, like I said, once again, these people are on a hamster wheel of just totally irrelevant. It's every time I hear somebody open their mouth, I think of a hamster running on a wheel.
Yeah.
They can't run fast enough. They can't run or talk fast enough about everything that's wrong with them.
Look, I tell them, I understand the biggest problem about this, Jim, is that there are so many people on the left. They get so many things sort of inundating. Like they believe there's so many things coming at them so fast that they forget the last time that they were forced to believe in some hoax. Every time turn around, everything that they put all their weight behind turns out to sucker punch them. Jussie Smollett.
Yeah.
It's like no matter what.
Care.
Yeah, they don't care.
It's of no difference because that's not in the intellect for which they're trying to explain their positions. It's just one position. Go to the next hamster. We'll spin the next wheel.
Yep.
We got to know. It makes no difference. It makes absolutely no difference at all what they're bringing up. Because they don't care. Or they just have no ability to understand it.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I think thank you, buddy. I think the interesting part about this with the hamster wheel, as Jim is talking about, I think the biggest problem with that is, and with them is, look, when everything is a tool to make a point, you just move on to the next one. Like you really have to care. Because let me put it this way: if you really cared about a subject or an issue, and it was that dire to you, your cause, and what you believed, no matter what happened, you would stand by it. until you were proven 100% wrong. And then the usual thing to do is, wow, I saw that the wrong way. But two things happen when it is provably wrong. You abandon it completely and jump to the next one, or you pretend that the reveal never happened. Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, George Floyd. It doesn't matter if the truth is revealed. You take one or two stances. Jussie Smollett, you take one or two stances. You stick by it no matter what. You know, what's my ex-wife used to say that? Deny till you die. Deny the facts till you die. Never let it go. The people who know and who have been hoodwinked, they just abandon it. Never to bring it up again. If you bring it up to them, it's like, I don't want to talk about that. No, why are you bringing that up? They start arguing with you, and then it become very volatile, and so you can't discuss it because they're never going to reveal it. It's like, yeah, I got that wrong. Just admit you got it wrong. And the reason why they can't is because that ignorance, if you will, gives them the opportunity to jump onto the next big hoax. Because if they feign ignorance, it doesn't matter if they're ignorant the next time around. When you say to them, hey, what if this turns out to be a hoax? Well, we don't know if it's going to be a hoax until it's a hoax. And they'll stand with it. They're never around when the dust settles. They just bounce. Sandra Bland, anyone? There are plenty of these stories over and over again. People just disappear. And they do. It's sad, but it's 100% true. Let's go to Adam in East Hartford. How are you doing, Adam? Okay. I may have caught him off guard. Dan's in East Wind. No, not Dan yet. I apologize, Dan. Let me go to Tim on his cell phone. How are you doing, Tim?
Yeah, you're right. They say deny.
Yeah.
But a little off topic. The bottle deposit in Connecticut went up to 10 cents, which I get, that's a nice thing and all.
That's a good thing.
Where does all the money go that people don't deposit get the return? Doesn't it go into the general fund?
I think that's correct. In other words, you're saying like when garbage grabs them, aren't they supposed to be separating that stuff?
Well, yeah. So I don't think they did it because they want more bottles returned and people to get the money.
Right.
They get the extra money.
That's correct.
Just something so small, they get more money. It's just don't bother to look at that. That's what we're doing over here. It's a good thing. Don't worry about it. But they just get more money.
Yeah,
I talked to a couple other guys years ago before you were here, and I've always asked, what do you do to fix this? And they say you got to vote. But I think Connecticut's beyond voting. There's something else that has to happen.
You are 100% right about that, my friend. And I, you know what? If you ever notice, and I don't know if I've been here long enough, or if you've listened to me long enough to say this, one of my biggest arguments that I've said on these airwaves and others is that you hear these people in these award shows, right? At the Grammys, you'll hear, big ass Lizzo getting up on stage going, y'all need to vote. That's what y'all need. And they never tell them what to vote for. They just tell them to vote.
No idea.
And that's my response to everybody in politics. If you need people to vote, do not be vague. You have to, and that's how I know who's worthy of me getting to vote for a particular thing, because you have to express what it is that I'm voting for. I don't want to just vote for some guy because you think that they're cool. You got to tell me what exactly I'm voting for, which always is exposed when that person says it. Hey, what do you want me to vote for? They go, just vote because it's important. Okay, so you have nothing beyond just go to vote? Yeah. So Republicans need to do that just as well as Democrats. We can't tell people just to vote. We have to tell them what we're voting for. We have to tell them what elections we're voting for. Why are we voting for this person? What's the measure we're trying to get through? Then people will go out and vote, and then they have not only a consistent message, but they have a consistent vote that actually gets this stuff out of the way. People know what they're voting for.
I don't even know if that's going to work. It's beyond that. It's never going to vote in the way that we need it to. I don't think it can. It's too far gone.
Well, once we get rid of electronic voting, if we can get rid of that, that's a start. And I'm hoping that we're on pace to do that. I'm hoping we're on pace.
Why would they do that? They wouldn't be able to go the way it does.
You're 100% right. It's going to be a slow burn. It can't happen overnight, but you know what? We got to keep working on it. That's the way that I see it.
We're dying here.
I
Come
know,
on.
dude. I know. Every day. I think about my friend Mark, who passed away before the election, and I always think about him. I go, he never got to see Donald Trump get back in office. But you know what? I will tell you this. I knew in his heart he believed that that day was going to come. So we just got to treat it like, there is no tomorrow. That's the way I got to treat it. Like there is no tomorrow.
Yep.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, just keep hoping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Thanks again, Tim. All right, we'll take a break. We'll get some more phone calls in here when we can. Negro nonsense when we return as well. You're going to like this one. I got plenty of stuff on it as well when we return. Jason Katerina, he's got your weather, and Mark Christopher. And by the way, Jason, great advice. Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you and to everyone. If you are heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91 slowing 33 down to 32 A&B, and again 27 to 28. More delays, 20 in Middletown down to 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway in Meriden. Northbound Parkway, you've got delays now between 66 and 67 Wallingford into Meriden. That was kicked off from an earlier accident as you head up into that construction area. 91 northbound looking good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's a little tight as you move into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay. 2 westbound slows exit 4 up to the 84 west merge. 9 northbound slowing approaching the Aragoni Bridge. Westbound 84 is tight 22 to the Mixmaster. If you're traveling 84 eastbound, you've got slow traffic 3 to 5. Again, slow traffic from 9 in Newtown up to 10 in Newtown, or I should say up to 11. And then again, delays from the Rochambeau Bridge in Newtown up to just prior to exit 15. An accident reported there. Southbound 95 New Haven tight 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you or a loved one has been the victim of medical malpractice, know that you are not alone. Call 1-800-HAYMOND and they will get you the answers and advice you deserve. Attorney John Haymond is your legal authority in medical malpractice. Call 1-800-HAYMOND.
WTIC weather.
Well, the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, mostly cloudy. Going to be windy and cooler with the high of 49. Breezy tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Going to be chilly with the low down to 37. Sunny, breezy, and warmer for Thursday, though. We'll be kicking off a warming trend that'll last right into the weekend. The high of 58 Thursday. Clear and chilly Thursday night with the low down to 32. Cloudy on Friday, a brief afternoon shower or two, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Katerina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Cloudy skies, 50 degrees, the temperature in Hartford. Man accused of killing the mother of his toddler daughter in Ansonia 5.5 years ago took the stand in his own defense today. Jose Morales is charged in the murder of Christine Holloway in Ansonia. Their daughter Vanessa disappeared around the time of Christine's death and has not been seen since. Federal judge says he's found probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt for violating his orders to turn around planes carrying detainees to El Salvador. New bipartisan-backed plan to cut high electric bills in Connecticut, unveiled today at the state capitol, would have the public benefits shifted to a Connecticut green bond, similar to New York and Massachusetts. West Hartford police have arrested a town resident in connection with a deadly pedestrian crash involving another vehicle last year. Police say 83-year-old Sue Deffenbaugh allegedly ran over a pedestrian who had previously been hit by an initial vehicle. President Trump says he is joining his economic advisors for a White House negotiation over tariffs and trade with a Japanese official. Markets finished way down again today on Wall Street. Dow lost 699 points to finish below 40,000. S&P down 516. NASDAQ dropped 120. Red Sox baseball on TIC tonight. The Sox and Tampa Bay wrap their series in St. Pete. The pregame here right after the 6 p.m. news. Yanks finish up their series tonight at home against Kansas City. The Mets are in Minnesota. And in the Eastern League, Portland faces the Yard Goats. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more. This doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I had the worst dream last
Come
night.
on, a minute.
The car crashed and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get... Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
All right, when we come back, we'll do, of course, Negro Nonsense. I was going to do the stupidest thing I did today, but, of course, my phone call earlier with Mike made me reveal what it was. I'll just play it because some people may have missed it. This was Ned Lamont on Morning Joke on MSBET talking about taxes, concerned about tariffs is a 6-letter word. Tariffs are a 6-letter word for taxes.
Bring it down to size for us. Explain how these tariffs are impacting the residents of Connecticut.
First of all, we're a big aerospace state, so when you put tariffs on aerospace parts, we get $3.5 billion come down from Canada. That costs a fortune. When you put a tax on hydroelectric power, that's going to drive up the price of electricity for our homeowners. If you want to put a tax on pharmaceuticals, that's going to drive up the cost of pharmaceuticals, generic drugs for people. So tariff is a 6-letter word for tax.
Yeah.
And there's a big tax on the people of Connecticut and America.
Yeah, he didn't really have much to offer. It's Ned Lamont, for crying out loud. I mean, I guess he's just trying to get some TV time. Someone in the chat room said that Lamont's probably running in 2028. No, he's not. Despite this 62% approval rating he has in Connecticut, he ain't running. Ned Lamont is not, how do the kids call it? Main character energy. I'm sorry. Sometimes I laugh at the kids' sayings. But yeah, he's no top of the ticket guy. Sorry, he's just not. He's not. That's not my fault. Okay? And I'm not going to say, he looks, he doesn't look the part. He just doesn't. He doesn't. He's great for Connecticut politics, but not on the national stage. They would rip him to shreds on the national stage. So I don't know. If he really wanted to run in 2028, he would tell Chris Murphy, take a seat, and he would be out there. Do you see him out there? Ned Lamont, do you see him out there? There's absolutely no enthusiasm in his voice. He doesn't have that gravitas, I guess the best way to put it. So I don't see that. It's also why you don't see him on television a lot. He appears very awkward. Nothing against him. It's just not his forte. So yeah, talking about taxes on MSNBC, is almost insulting. Newsom, Lamont, 2028. I do agree with that, Richard. That I agree with. He is second fiddle. And I'm telling you, Newsom, even though Newsom is tanking his political career in California, can you imagine just a year ago, he was polling in the high 20%. Now he's far behind people like AOC. He's barely making 3-4%. It's like, boom, just like that, over. Now he could come, don't get me wrong, he could shoot back up, but the LA fires did not help him. It did not help him. And the podcast with the conservative people on there and abandoning, men and women's sports did not help him. So there's no real likelihood he looks good. But if he should he pick that up, start making himself a viable candidate again? I agree with you, Richard. I was the one who called it. You guys laughed at me. It would be Newsom Lamont 2028. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Jason Caterina and Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Hey, thank you very much, Reese. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32. A little slow by exit 28. Another bump as you move from 19 to 17 in Meriden. Now, on the northbound side of the parkway, looks like we might have another accident now up by exit 68 N&E in that construction area. Get used to that, because that is that project down there is really a mess. And it has to be a mess to redo the highway. But, looks like there's an accident just prior to exit 67 now. Northbound on the Parkway and Meriden delays are almost back to 66 behind that. Now, if you're traveling 91 northbound, that looks good. Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up. Approaching the Bulkley Bridge to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you've got delays 48 Capitol Avenue down to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84, okay. 2 westbound just a little slow. In East Hartford merging with 84 west. 9 northbound Middletown slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 westbound Waterbury slows 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound Danbury sluggish 3 to 5. Again, you're tight from 9 in Newtown. All the way out to just about exit 15 in Southbury, an accident reported there. If you're 95 southbound in New Haven, you're slowing 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week at Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods, local hickory-smoked spiral-cut hams are only $3.99 per pound. Plus, Stu's naked leg of lamb, boneless, butterflied, or roasts are just $6.99 per pound. Save $3. For more savings, visit StuLeonards.com.
WTIC weather.
Partly cloudy, breezy, and chilly tonight. The low down to 36. Sunny, breezy, and warmer for us on Thursday. The high 59. Friday, lots of clouds. A brief shower or two in the afternoon. The high 65. Saturday, clouds with some breaks of sun. Still a couple of showers, but listen, pollen levels will be very high and the temperature up to 77. Sunday, partly sunny, breezy, not as warm, but still very nice with the high of 67. Right now, it is 50 in New London, also in Mansfield and Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, the last encores. August 2nd at Mohegan Sun Arena. Get tickets Friday, 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletterb.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Here at ALO, we believe hearing solutions to your main drain problems shouldn't cost a thing. That's why we offer free mainline drain camera inspections and free estimates on sewer line repair or replacement. Contact the trusted professionals at ALO when you call, click, or text today and say, "Hello, ALO." Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768, D10401465, E1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM 3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like it has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 20%. Trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. A story that I told you guys a month ago, well, just around a month ago, on March 20th, one of the early Negro Nonsense, I think it had to have been about the second one, on a Thursday, yours truly brought this story up that very few people, in fact, I only think of one outlet that actually reported on it, which is why I got it. The info was sent to me, and I reported on it, and I even had documentation on the show. You guys remember Letitia James, down there in New York? William Tong was hanging out with her a couple of weeks ago. I don't think he'd want to hang out with her after this story. So according to certain news outlets, they've revealed that New York Attorney General Letitia James obtained a federal government HAMP loan in 2011 to refinance her apartment building based on false unit information and a highly questionable hardship claim. In her loan documents, James claimed her multifamily apartment building at Lafayette Avenue in Brooklyn had only 4 units, even though the official certificate of occupancy indicates that there are 5 apartments. This may seem like a minor point, but James's false claims helped her obtain a 2.7% government-backed HAMP loan unavailable to landlords with more than 4 apartments in a given building. James also claimed financial hardship to qualify for the loan, despite having an income of over $126,000 in 2011. But that's not even the worst part. There seems to be a pattern of possible mortgage fraud in regard to Letitia James. New questions have now arisen about a home that Letitia James purchased with her father, Robert James. According to reports, in the spring of 1983, Letitia James was 24 and living in Brooklyn with her parents. She had graduated from Cooney's Lehman College in 1981. She would not begin law school at Howard University in Washington, D.C. until the fall of 1984. According to New York City Department of Finance records, on May 20th, 1983, Letitia James and her father, Robert, took out a real estate loan from Cadillac Funding, Ltd., for $30,300. But on that loan, it has Robert and Letitia marked as husband and wife, not father and daughter. For the record, Letitia James' mother and Robert's wife's name is Nellie. Oh, Nellie. We actually have a copy of that document. Showed it right there. Told you I had it. March 20th of this year, almost a month ago, right here. Which clearly says this mortgage is made on the 20th day of May, 1983, between Robert James and Letitia James, comma, his wife. Yeah. Now, yesterday, I was actually setting up for another edition of Negro Nonsense because the other story that had also dropped about Letitia James, which is now nationwide, I had posted, I had this picture set up for everyone to look for. This is the one that is the most damaging of all of them. This is about a property that Letitia James has in Norfolk, Virginia. And on that property in Norfolk, Virginia, Letitia James, circled if you can see it there in a picture, is hereby declaring that the Norfolk, Virginia address would be her primary home. Now, that would be nothing if somebody's just lying about what their primary home is. But for Letitia James, it's really, really a special kind of stupid. Because there is a document that says that your actual home is Norfolk, Virginia. But if you are an attorney, if you are practicing law, you actually have to state, or there's a provision that must be provided for you that says that as a Virginia resident, you can practice law in another state, right? Everybody knows that. Everyone knows it to be true. But Letitia James, again, in lying, has jeopardized cases that she may have filed as the district attorney or the attorney general of New York City with a primary residence over, 500 miles away? That's a problem. That's a huge problem. And Letitia's going to have to answer for that. I just saw an article in the New York Post that said that reporters were outside of one of her brownstones to get a statement from her. What do you think Letitia James said? Nothing. Nothing. Everything that she has gone after the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, turns out that she was doing herself. Lying on applications, saying that the unit was 4 residences when there were 5 in order to get a favorable loan. Yeah, the entire case against Donald Trump. The entire case. And now she's gone, mum's the word. Can't keep her from a microphone. Can't keep her from the cameras. She was there every day during his trial. And now, nothing. She's all quiet. Probably because someone knows that they're going down. And turnabout is fair play. So there are people out there who are saying, oh, see, now he's going after his political enemies. Yep. Yeah, I'm with that. 100%. I'm with that. I want every part of that. I want to watch it. I want front row seats. I want complimentary popcorn, the big giant Coca-Cola slushie. Yeah, the real big one, the one that you really can't drink all the way until you drink so much of it, you got to go to the bathroom in 15 minutes. I want that thing. I want it bigger than that. Big gulp, that's a small. I'm there for every bit of that. I want all of them to go down. Her, Fannie Willis, who else? Alvin Bragg. Let's find out what that guy's got in his eye. I want that man caught with illegal donuts. Whatever he's got. Whatever scandal he's got brewing, I want all of that. All of it. Every bit of it. In another story, Carmelo Anthony, the young man who is being accused of murdering another individual, it's now being reported by the New York Post that Carmelo Anthony's family is renting a $900,000 home in a gated community with his family, ended up buying a new car to the tune of $150,000. I believe it's a Cadillac Escalade. And is also using money for security. But, of course, there are other reports that are saying he hasn't spent one dime of that. Do you really think that's how it works? Do you really think a guy who has a GoFundMe page, who's pretty much internet popular, with $500,000 in his coffers, has to spend a dime on any of those things? Not at all. Not at all. And that's exactly what's happening. People are up here talking about, it's like, he didn't take any money out of it. That doesn't matter. It's like winning the lotto. If it's public knowledge that you won the lottery, right now, if you won $1 million and it was public knowledge, it was all over the news, you think you couldn't go out there and get yourself a new home? You're good for it. Of course you're good for it. That's all that is. All I want is for everybody to watch that story, because that's what's going to happen. All of these people who are running around defending that kid, watching these guys take that money that they're trying to give to his defense fund and see that they're driving around in an Escalade, sitting in a gated community, a $900,000 home on their hard-earned money while they're defending him. Go ahead and try to defend that. How did Black Lives Matter work for you when they bought their 9 homes? Huh? What happened then? Anybody supporting Black Lives Matter anymore? I doubt it. When you found out what they did with millions of dollars, was it 90 million? Huh? With your little breadcrumbs that you gave to this family because you thought that he was unjustly persecuted. See what they did over there? See what they did with that money? I don't care if anybody's offended by it. There's a reason why we call it what it is. Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. Negro nonsense. If you make it about race, so will I. The minute you make it about race, so will I. I tried to tell y'all over and over again, stop making it about race. You're making it about race so no one will criticize you. So I make it about race so I can criticize you. That's how it works. One good hand deserves the other. See, I believe in fighting fire with fire. So if you don't want me to do Negro nonsense, don't make it about race anymore. But that's what they did. Carmelo Anthony is supposed to be a testament to racial justice. Good. That's exactly what I'm here for. Front row seat on that one, too. Front row seat for that. To the phones we go. Let's get to Dan in East Windsor. How are we doing, Dan?
Hey, Reese. Oh, man, every time I hear that jingle of Negro nonsense, I laugh my butt off, man. I mean, that's just too funny. I will never be able to hear Viva Las Vegas ever again without thinking about that.
I love that. Thank you. That's the whole purpose when I put it together. That's because I love Elvis. You know how much I love Elvis. That's why I did it. I love Elvis so much.
But anyway, when I call, in light of all that you're just talking about, what I call about seems trite, but
that's fine.
I was calling because prior to a couple of breaks ago, the subject of sodas and Snap was brought up.
Sure.
And I wanted to point out something. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, and I don't know if it's only in Connecticut or if it's nationwide, but at least in Connecticut, on Snap, you can get cash back. I've seen signs up at a couple of stores that say no more than $100 cash back on Snap/EBT.
New York does that. So, New York does it. New York City in the boroughs.
Yeah, all they got to do is just get the cash back, and they buy whatever the hell they want, regardless of if it's allowed on Snap or not.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the fraud and abuse is the fact that they do that. They found a way. What's crazy about that point, Dan, is and the reason why they allowed it was there were people who are actually giving the card up for cash. And then they changed that to make it a debit card so that you couldn't give up the card, right? So it's like your personal bank card. So now that they do that, they just made it easier for you to just do a cash back, which they should do something about.
Yeah. And by the way, as far as the 28 Democrat ticket, I don't know if Gavin Newsom is viable or not. I mean, I know he'll do what he needs to do and he'll move to the center, but nobody's going to believe it. But honestly, I think a more viable candidate would be Josh Shapiro. I really do.
I
think he will be.
It's funny you say that. But the two things play a role in what you say, why he will be viable, but yet will lose. And it's very important because Josh Shapiro, unfortunately, because of what happened to the governor's mansion recently, the person who we just found out who actually set it ablaze is one of these pro-Palestinian guys. He's a Black Lives Matter activist as well. Shapiro can use that momentum as the attack on him that Democrats can rally around, right? They'll immediately see the comparisons to Donald Trump and do that. Unfortunately, the radical left wing of the party will abandon Shapiro because of his Jewish faith.
Yeah. I just think Gavin Newsom is just so far left. He makes AOC look conservative. I mean,
it's Pennsylvania. He's got to listen. He ran in the right place. He won in the right place. But you're right. I don't think Josh Shapiro can run outside of his state. but he's far more charismatic than everybody else who's on the list. I'll tell you that. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Let me, I'm going to take a break, and I'll get to the rest of these phone calls, I promise, but I had to get through the Negro nonsense thing. So trust me, we've got another hour. We'll get a lot of people on the lines. So if you want to call in, please do. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I've got Harry Enton coming up because I get these messages, and you probably get them too. Have you ever received a phone call where somebody says, hey, you have any regrets about voting for Donald Trump? Huh? You regret it yet? You regret it yet? I figured out why they asked. I figured it out. But I've got Harry Enton on the other side to explain what the number is, what the polling data says about people regretting their vote for Donald Trump. So stick around for that and, of course, your phone calls. All right, Jason Caterina, he's got your weather, and Mark Christopher's in the BPL Traffic Center. Hey, man.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. 91 southbound, you got delays a little slow as you move down between 36 and 35 in Windsor. And again, delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Another bump down by exit 28, Hartford Weathersfield line. Slow traffic again as you approach 19 in Meriden, down to 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway. Look for some slow traffic northbound on the Parkway, Wallingford Meriden line. An accident up near exit 67, slowing you down there. 91 northbound, looking good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing in East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slows about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel in Hartford. No problems. 291, 384 east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Ariconi Bridge in Middletown. Westbound 84 tied up 22 in Waterbury to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, you got some slow traffic in Danbury, getting by exit 3. Again, some slow traffic from 8 to 9, Danbury into Newtown on 84 East. Southbound Parkway, look out for an accident just prior to the West Rock Tunnel. Delays are approaching 60 in Hamden behind that. 95 South New Haven, slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
The rest of our Wednesday afternoon, mostly cloudy, windy and cooler, the high 49. Breezy tonight, partly cloudy, the low dropping down to 37. Now sunny, breezy, and warmer Thursday. We're going to kick off a warming trend that'll last right into the weekend, as a matter of fact. The high up to 58 for us Thursday. Clear and chilly Thursday night with the low down to 32. It'll be cloudy and breezy Friday. An afternoon shower or two, the high up to 65. Then cloudy Friday night, the low down to 50. The clouds will have some breaks of sun on Saturday. It'll be warmer with a couple of showers, but pollen levels are going to be through the roof too. The high up to 77 on Saturday. Partly cloudy Saturday night, the low down to 51. Sunday, partly sunny, breezy, not as warm, but still quite pleasant with the high of 67. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, Hartford temperature 50 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. The man accused of killing the mother of his toddler daughter in Ansonia 5.5 years ago took the stand in his own defense today. Jose Morales is charged in the murder of Christine Holloway in December of 2019. Their daughter Vanessa disappeared around the time of Christine's death and has not been seen since. On the stand today, Morales testified as to the events leading up to the killing, including his use of drugs days prior to Holloway's death.
It was going through my mind that I still had 2 bags of dust left, so the craving was getting the best of me. So I told Christine I'm about to roll a bag and smoke.
Holloway's body was found in her Myrtle Avenue apartment. She died from apparent blunt force injuries to her head. At the state capitol today, a bipartisan group of lawmakers backed a plan they say will slash electric rates for Connecticut customers. As for supply, the fixed schedule for procuring electricity would go away, so energy can be bought at lower prices. When it comes to transmission and distribution, bills are currently based on peak use, which came in July 15th of last year. Democratic State Senator John Fonfara says that's about half efficient, and that would change under this bill.
It's like if you had a restaurant and you were designing your kitchen, you design it for one day for the big wedding, but the rest of the year you have one little corner of the kitchen. You wouldn't do it. That's what we've done with electricity. We build to the peak day of the year, and we do nothing to mitigate that peak.
He says the public benefits charges on electric bills now would be shifted to a Connecticut green bond, similar to programs in New York and Massachusetts, but says those programs aren't going to be cut at this time. Federal judge says there is probable cause to hold the Trump administration criminal contempt of court, that is, for violating orders to turn around planes carrying deportees to El Salvador last month. The judge is warning he could hold hearings and refer the matter for prosecution. Justin Crow is a political science professor at Williams College.
The president is asserting executive power or asserting ways to use executive power that either clash with precedents, clash with conventional ways in which we have done things, clash with judicial orders.
The administration is planning to appeal. State Department of Education won't sign a Trump administration letter requiring the elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs in public schools. The U.S. Department of Education has threatened federal funding for states that don't comply. Governor Lamont says Connecticut is proud to support the diversity of our schools, end quote. WTIC's Dave Mager spoke to the president of the state's largest teachers union.
Kate Diaz of the Connecticut Education Association says the state is already in line with federal standards.
Our schools and our school programming is in alignment with all federal laws.
And that the Trump White House demand to dictate public school policy or curriculum is an effort to censor the information available to students so they only hear one point of view.
It's actually an affront to the ideas and the ideals of public learning.
She says if Trump threatens more than $500 million in federal funding,
then we'd have to litigate. And I'm confident that the Attorney General and the governor would be prepared to do that.
Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Pope Francis is thanking those who treated him during a battle with double pneumonia earlier this year.
During his 20-minute encounter, the Pope expressed his gratitude to them all. Since his release from the hospital, the Pope has shown further improvement in his health, but his Easter schedule remains unclear.
Correspondent Sabina Castelfranco in Rome. Dow lost nearly 700 today, 699 to be exact. NASDAQ down 516, S&P down 120 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
As men get older, we all know that, and often we just accept the changes as
former.
Some of those changes, such as
employee Al Smith, just called in.
No energy and reduced gains.
And he said he did not like your
and that is something
Negro nonsense.
This is the hell for Northeast Men's Health. And even
he was a former news overnight news guy and a 2-time pastor.
With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have.
He said broad is spewing what's the word, maggots? I don't know what that means.
Drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good.
Yeah, something like that.
$9 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956.
He used to do overnights?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, okay.
That's what he said.
956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic.
He said Reese is better than that.
No, I'm not.
Punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, we're back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. And I appreciate the criticism. I do want to tell everybody I appreciate the criticism. Please, and by the way, look, never hesitate to pick up the phone and give me a call and speak to me directly. I love to have a conversation about, things that I discuss on here. I'm no scaredy cat. When I say scaredy cat, I'm not one of these guys that, throws a stone and hides their hand. I don't say things that I don't truly know, right? I don't use the word belief. Belief is for people who lack knowledge, because if you believe it, if you don't know it, you'll believe anything. But when I say what I say, I mean I stand by it. I stand on my two by it. And I can debate it. I'm not like the Chris Murphys or the Lamonts and all the rest of them who, get on the camera in friendly places and spew that, it's this and it's that and that. I go to the opposition and then I have a debate with them. So if you ever want to come at me, and this is, again, just make sure everybody understands this. There's a reason why people don't call me on the phone. There's a reason why people don't reach out to me. Okay? Because if they really, really saw a serious problem with what I'm saying, they'd be able to debate it. But they are afraid of me. I don't know why. Don't ever be afraid of me. Never give me that ground. Don't be fearful. If you believe otherwise than what I spew, come at me with it. Debate me on it. It'll be a fair fight. I'll take all comers. Whatever you got to say, come with it. Okay? Nobody should be fearful about debating me. But once you start doing all that stuff, it's like, you're doing it from the sidelines. And I know you can't debate me. I know you have no conviction in what you believe. Your feelings are involved. Please don't let your feelings get involved. We're grown folks here, all adults. If you lead with your feelings, you fail by your feelings. Just letting you know. And I love you. I love you all, even if you hate me. God bless you. Anyway, let's get another check of our weather with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, bud.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound 91, look for delays 33, down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. More slow traffic, 19, down to 17 in Meriden. For the Wilbercross Parkway, northbound 91, easy ride Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing East Hartford, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, you got some slow traffic now, about a half mile before 46th Avenue down to the Bulkley. 291, 384 moving well. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. If you are heading into Waterbury, 84 westbound, a little slow. 22 up to the Mixmaster. Heading 84 eastbound in Danbury, you got some slow traffic as you move between exit 3 and 5, and again some slow traffic between 8 and 9, Danbury into Newtown. Southbound Parkway slowing, approaching 60 in Hamden down into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound slows 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For tonight, it'll be partly cloudy, breezy, and quite chilly with the low down to 36. Now, sunny, breezy, and warmer will make a nice rebound heading all the way to the weekend, the high up to 59 on our Thursday. Clear, chillier as we head through Thursday night, though, the low down to 33. Lots of clouds Friday, even with a brief shower or two in the afternoon. Breezy and milder with the high up to 65. Saturday, clouds, breaks of sun. A couple of showers around if you can dodge them. Not a bad day. The high of 77, though. Watch out. Pollen levels are going to be very high on Saturday if you've got seasonal allergies. Sunday, partly sunny, breezy, not as warm, but, still nice. The high of 67. Right now, it's 45 in Waterbury, 46 Danbury, still 50 in Bridgeport, and 51 now in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
We promise fast, friendly, reliable service. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune into the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com or in stores at your local CVS.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text ENERGY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text ENRGY to 42424. That's ENERGY to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers,
and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
Yeah, man, we're going to drop that in a minute. So, Roland, did he use the term maggot? Was that the term? Was that the term?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, because somebody in the chat room says, because they were listening, of course, behind the scenes. By the way, if you're listening, if you go online and you're listening to the show, you can hear behind the scenes where we're doing a commercial, because sometimes we'll talk and I'll be talking to the people in the chat room. You might even hear my wife and I talking. And so apparently somebody called and said something about, did they say I was a maggot or like my maggots? Was that the term? Do you remember exactly what the term was?
No, he's saying he's spreading out.
Spreading maggot type stuff. Something along that line. Was that what it was? Or do you not remember? It's like if you don't.
Nah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I like, again, I don't want to get anywhere wrong. I don't. Casting the aspersions thing. That means no one's got any real basis for what they're arguing. It's like, argue the facts, right? Don't make it about me. I'm not the story. Letitia James is the story. All right? Carmelo Anthony is the story. Making it about me means that the story bothers you. That's all that's about. It's like, don't expose the story. Don't air the dirty laundry. Don't talk about him in that way. If you're making it about me and not about the story, it means the story is getting. The story has a get, and it's getting to you. I understand that. Don't worry about it. It's all right. What did Gayle King say after she did her little ride up in space? When you do better, you'll be better. Whatever that nonsense means. Let's get back to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Let's go to Adam in East Hartford. He's back. Hey, Adam.
Hey, what I love about you, like I said, that you don't have a chip on your shoulder.
Not one.
Even though there were blacks that were segregated, persecuted, etc. But one thing I want to say, here's an area you might disagree with me on.
Okay.
Now, as I said before, that a lot of times that a white police officer is prematurely judged, especially by the liberal press, if he shoots a black man that's in the process of committing a crime. But here's what I have to say. Like with Anthony Brown, or who's the guy that tried to punch out the cop?
Oh, Michael Brown. Darren Wilson was the police officer, yes.
The reason I saw that as different as Derek Chauvin, the reason being, Derek Chauvin, I thought messed it up for the other cops because the blacks that have been, raising heck against cops and rioting and smashed have been quiet for a long, long time. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but with Chauvin, they believe it wasn't racist, but that he might have been jealous that the big black guy was a big security guard, a lot bigger than Chauvin. But I'm just saying in my mind, Reese, that Chauvin could have had the knee on the back. Why do you just have the knee on the back for 8 minutes?
Let me tell you. Okay, I want you to do this. This is what I want you to do. I'm going to give you some homework, Adam. I want you to go see the documentary. Somebody will give it to me in the chat room, but I think it's called Minnesota. What the heck is it? It was the documentary in Minnesota, and I will get it before the show is over. But there's a documentary about the whole thing that happened there with Derek Chauvin and the evidence that proves his innocence. We already have a judge there who is going to relook at this case because there is evidence that the now deputy chief of police is being called back because she perjured herself in the Derek Chauvin trial by saying the procedure that Derek Chauvin used on George Floyd was actually in their handbook. There were plenty of people. This documentary exposes that the knee on the back was a part of a procedural thing that police officers should use on an unruly suspect. And he was using it. And Derek Chauvin and his defense team tried to express that, but there were police officers who actually took the stand and they would not fall on their sword. They actually lied on the stand and said that that was not in the rule books. And in fact, the judge in the case kept the rule book, their procedural book, out of evidence in the case. So I'm going to find the name of the case. Make sure you're listening. I'll tell you what the name of the documentary is. Because of that case, it's actually going to be reheard. Go on.
Can I say one last thing before I leave? I am going to research that, but the white woman that was police officer that was sexting her boyfriend and shot that nice black guy that was involved like with church and everything. Now that in Dallas, that was terrible.
Hey, look, listen. What I'm saying is that all of these things are incidental, right? I always think about. I'll give you another example. Do you remember when LeBron James tweeted out a picture of a police officer who had shot a black girl as a part of a domestic dispute? The police officer showed up, and they was about to take these two girls, off each other who were fighting, and one of the girls ends up getting shot. Well, what we found out minutes after the shooting took place was that the police officer shot the girl who was about to stab the other girl in the fight. Both girls in the fight were black, and the police officer saw that the other black girl was about to be stabbed to death. And because he couldn't get to her in time, he had to shoot her. LeBron James posted a picture of the police officer saying the words, "You're next." Now, was LeBron wrong? He was 100% wrong. So
black
exactly,
white.
exactly.
Yep.
And because the police officer was white, LeBron didn't even care that the woman that he saved ended up being a black girl who was about to be stabbed to death. That's why I don't fall for this nonsense. When you make it about race, I do too. That's why I say that. So, and again, look, I'm just a defender of what's right. Forget all that racial, tribal nonsense. I don't care about it. Anyway, but thank you, buddy. Let's go to Tom in Thomaston real quick. Hey, Tom.
Hey, hello, Reese.
What's up, buddy?
For Mick, my comment. You like knives at all?
When you say nines, what do you mean?
Pocket knives?
Oh, knives. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really ever been a pocket knife guy or a knife guy at all.
Oh, Chase Knives it's having a run of peanut butter and jelly knives.
No way.
Very small run, and they're exclusive. And
Now,
they're like selling out in like 4 hours when they're put online on Smoky Mountain Knife Works.
That sounds great. Now, why is it a peanut butter and jelly? Why is it a peanut butter and jelly knife? Is it because is it made in kind with the using for making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
No, it's the design of it's kind of a purplish in the middle and tan on each end.
Oh, okay.
So they just call it a peanut butter and jelly, but I don't particularly like them. But boy, they sell out like crazy on Smoky Mountain Knife Works. That's a big.
I know who they are. You know what you're thinking? You reminded me of. Remember, Timberland has those hiking boots, and they're like brown and green. They're like two-tone sort of hiking boots. In the hood, they called that color. They called that shade of Timberland boots. They call them beef and broccoli. That's what I was thinking the way you were describing it. So now it makes sense. I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, Tom. Let's get to Phil in Marlboro. Hey, Phil.
Hey, Reese. Good to talk to you again.
Always a pleasure, sir. What's up?
I just love your show. I mean, it's awesome. I'm just not up on everything lately because I turned 58 on Saturday, and I have a 3-month-old.
Stop it.
I have a three-month-old baby.
Wait. How old are you again?
58.
58? And my wife wouldn't let me have a baby. I congratulate you. I got
a 21-year-old also.
Now, you do understand that you are going to be 78 before you no longer pay for this child, right?
It doesn't matter. Well, I put my life down.
I hear that. Of course.
You he's such a beautiful baby. But going back to my first call to you, I think I'm going to have to start a 12-step program for Tim and you.
Why? What is wrong? What's wrong?
I heard him again. I can't take it.
He wasn't here today. He wasn't here today, probably because he heard my opening monologue and he wanted nothing to do with me today. So he didn't show up because he came here talking all this nonsense the other day about, all these people being disappeared.
Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. No, he didn't come back today.
It was yesterday.
So I've literally destroyed every one of his arguments over the last, I guess the last couple of hours. So no, you're not going to hear from him until next week.
I feel so bad for you.
Please don't at all. Phil, congratulations on the baby, and all the best to the missus as well. So congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy. I got to go to Frank in Newington before I go to Frank in Woodbridge. How we doing, Frank? Frank in Newington? Buddy, you there?
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, two things. First, try this on your peanut butter and jelly sandwich, because this is how my wife makes it.
Okay.
She puts peanut butter on both pieces of bread and then puts the jelly in the middle. That way the jelly doesn't, sob, make the bread soggy.
Yes.
And everything, and you get it in there and it don't fall out. The other thing is this is going to educate your listeners.
Okay.
Okay, food stamps. Originally in food stamps, soda and chips and other snacks were not allowed.
Right.
Because food stamp was designed to give nutritional food to people who needed it.
Correct.
That's why you had cheese, milk, eggs, fruit, vegetables, stuff like that.
Right.
It was the grocery stores and the corner stores that found a loophole.
Right.
And what they did was they decided to consider chips, snacks, a soda, anything like that as groceries.
Correct.
Not snacks.
Correct.
And food stamps will pay for groceries.
And you know what was the argument there? You know what?
All these people get all this stuff.
Frank, do you know what?
Watching Ohio. What's that?
Hold on real quick, because you make a very, very good point. The reason why they extended the usage of the food stamps to the bodegas and the grocery stores were because they didn't have, the argument was, not everyone had an availability to get to supermarkets. They either didn't have the transportation, didn't have a car, shopping carts, they would have to travel very far. So some people needed meals at the ready. So grocery stores then were able to use it. I remember this vividly because I lived down the block from a grocery store, and I remember when the provision to use them, I remember every grocery store started putting up signs, "We accept food stamps." Because that was before my time. Right. You couldn't even use them there. So that's the reason why. And you're right. It was the distinction that made it available, because on the inventory at a bodega or, one of these corner stores was the word grocery, and no one could dispute that when they handed in the tabs, to the food stamp companies, they could be saying, oh, they bought groceries, knowing damn well that neither one of those folks sold nutritious foods. They just overlooked it.
Yeah, I remember, I had to go on it at one point, and I remember actually having dollar coupons.
Yep.
That you took out of a book.
Yep.
It wasn't even an EBT card, and it said right on it, these are the only things allowed. And those things had to be, rung up separately and paid for, and then you had to use cash to pay for anything else you wanted.
Are you old enough to remember the plastic coins that came with food stamps?
Yeah. Yes.
I'll never forget.
I remember them.
I'll never forget those things.
Oh, yeah, I remember them. Now, here was something funny that I saw one time. I was watching, I think it was in New Jersey. They had a report of a store that was making deals for people to use their EBT cards to buy alcohol and cigarettes.
Whoa.
And the guy was charging a surcharge. And what he would do is, he'd make it $25 on $100 or 20, and he would ring up the price of the cigarettes and the alcohol as grocery,
right,
in the register and everything. And then he would he would add his surcharge. He would, mathematically on a piece of paper.
Right.
And that's what he would punch into the EBT terminal.
That's crazy, because that right there, that's a price gouge on a food stamp card. So in essence, he first of all, he's cooking the books, right? So if you're buying something that would cost you $50 at that liquor store, he could then mark it as $75 as your surcharge. It's like you knew, and not only that, but what were you willing to do as a person using food stamps or using the EBT card? You say, hey, listen, in order to use that here, you're going to have to take the $25 surcharge. If the person wants to pay it, they're going to give it up because it's not their money anyway.
Right. Well, the funniest thing was I was watching it. They had reports, and they were watching this place with state police. They had the guy from the Department of Special Revenue or whoever handles it.
Yeah.
He was in there. He had dialed into the terminal. They sent the guy in to buy the alcohol and the cigarettes, right?
And then they busted him.
Gets in the van, right? The cops and the guy walk in, and they're like, hey, you just made a transaction of such and such of money on your EBT card. And the guy's trying to deny it. So the guy pulls out his computer, shows it. He goes, yeah, it's right here.
Damn. I got to go, Frank, but I got to go. I apologize because there's a hard break I got coming up. Anyway, no, that's a really, really good story. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Catarina and Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon. If you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, just a little slow traffic as you move between 33 and 32. Again, 27 down to 28 on the Hartford Weather Shield line. Another slowdown as you move between 19 and 18 in Meriden. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays approaching 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 through 84 moving well east of the river. 2 westbound's a little slow. Exit 4 up to the 84 West Merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound Middletown tight at the Aragoni. 84 westbound Waterbury slowing 22 to the Mixmaster. Eastbound 84 tight in Waterbury by 18. 84 eastbound, look for slow traffic now in Danbury from exit 8 up to between exit 9 and 10 in Newtown. An accident is reported there, so that's slowing you down there. If you are traveling into New Haven, southbound Parkway delays 62 into the West Rock Tunnel. 95 southbound New Haven tight 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods.
This week at Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods, local hickory smoked spiral cut hams for $3.99 per pound. Plus, this week's color, locally grown potted hyacinths, tulips, and Easter daffodils are $7.99 each or 3 for $22. For more savings, visit StuLeonards.com.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Wednesday afternoon, mostly cloudy, windy, and cooler, the high 49. Breezy tonight, otherwise partly cloudy. Chilly, the low down to 37. Sunny, breezy, and warmer starting Thursday. A warming trend going to kick off that'll last right into the weekend with a high of 58. Clear and cold Thursday night, the low down to 32. Lots of clouds Friday, breezy in the afternoon with a brief shower or two, the high 65. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 5:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Jose Morales took the stand in his murder trial today in Ansonia, in Milford, actually. He is accused of killing the Ansonia mother of his toddler daughter in December of 2019. Prosecution rested its case. The defense began calling witnesses. Morales II called to the stand today for the defense, and he will be back on the stand tomorrow. North Haven police charging a man in a fatal stabbing. 40-year-old David Pagan is charged. Police say the victim is a 77-year-old father. According to police, Pagan and his brother got into an altercation, and the father, according to Pagan, got in the way. They were called to that Pleasant Drive address on a report of a domestic incident last night. Lawmakers at the state capitol floating a bipartisan plan to lower electricity rates. Senator John Fonfara says the Senate bill would cut rates by 20% immediately, more savings down the road. Department of Education is declining to sign a Trump administration DEI compliance request. The letter reads in part, quote, Connecticut remains committed to safeguarding Connecticut students against the effects of discrimination. The letter penned by Governor Lamont and the Education Commissioner. Federal judge says he has found probable cause to hold the Trump administration in criminal contempt of court for violating his orders to turn around planes carrying deportees to El Salvador. Meantime, Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen arrived in El Salvador today to push for the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, a man who was sent there by the administration in March despite an immigration court order preventing his deportation. Dow down 699 points today on Wall Street. NASDAQ down 516. S&P lost 120. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
At Aiello Home Services, we handle hundreds of water heater issues a year. We know how much of an inconvenience no hot water is, and with our fully stocked trucks and warehouse, you can get your hot water back as soon as the same day. Contact the trusted professionals at Aiello Home Services when you call, click, or text today and say hello, Aiello. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, E10401465, E11856443, S33086999, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Are you on track for a successful retirement? Johnson Brunetti hosting a unique all-in-one event for those near or at retirement, moderated by me, Brian Shackman. Hear from JB Advisors, a licensed CPA, estate planning attorney, and Medicare specialist. Join us for dinner at the AquaTurf Club in Plantsville on May 1st at 6 p.m. Reservations are required. Visit event@jb.com to RSVP now. That's event@jb.com. Johnson Brunetti is a marketing name for the business of JB Capital and JN Financial. Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital LLC. Insurance products offered through JN Financial LLC.
Prescriptions require an online consult. Care provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Wait a minute. Hold it. 100 candles on the cake? How are you going to blow those out? Imagine what kind of a mess you're going to make of the frosting.
Yeah, that's going to be a mess. 860-522-WTIC is our telephone number. And be the last but not least caller of the day. I like when the ladies call at the end. If you'd like to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, your bagel bakery and sandwich cafe. Get on the phones in a little bit, and we'll be able to facilitate that for you. Let's go to our good friend who always calls at the end of the show to rant and rave about something. He's really upset about this Carmelo Anthony thing. And I'm sure that's probably what it's going to be about, but I could be wrong. Let's find out. White Mike is on the line. We've got 3 minutes. What do you got? Got 2.5.
Man, I actually got to say I'm pretty happy and I'm feeling pretty validated.
You feeling validated about what?
Oh, so I knew that these people were going to do some nonsense and be shady with that money.
Right.
And they've proven me right.
And that's what I said to you in the message earlier today. Yeah. It's like all the currency that they gathered in this with the outrage online, of course, with the donations that poured in. Now you see this, and it's like, what? Talk about like looking a gift horse in the mouth. Like it's unforced error out of unforced error. You could not keep yourself from doing this.
Well, I kind of think maybe they figure he's going to go to jail, so they may as well get a nice car and a house.
Do you know? You're literally taking the thought from my brain. Something about it said, because again, I'm looking at this attorney who gave the press conference yesterday, and there's something about this that he seemed hesitant to full-throated give this self-defense argument to the public. Like he was really hedging on it.
Was this the guy with the beard,
Yes.
or the Dominique guy who's the
No,
kid
no, the
eater
bearded
and
guy.
eater and fraudster?
No, the bearded man with the glasses. He gave the press conference yesterday, the live press conference. And he was saying,
Yeah,
like,
that
everyone
guy.
has a right to a defense, and some people, he kept making he didn't make a self-defense proclamation. He just said it once. And if, look, in a case like this, you need the court of public opinion because you're trying to at least, sway some sentiment, if you will. He jumped off of it immediately after he made it, which I thought was interesting for a lawyer because you milk whatever you can out of that sentiment, and he didn't do it.
And then to add on top of that, for my white glee, we have Letitia James being charged with mortgage fraud?
Yeah, and you poo-pooed it when I mentioned it. You said, well, Letitia James has committed fraud. I guess the sky is blue.
Yeah. And Bonnie Willis is in trouble,
Yep.
and Corey Bush is in trouble, and Jasmine Crockett is being investigated by the FEC.
Yep.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it's a good time to be a white guy. You're saying, you're cutting up roses. It's awesome. I'm so happy. Oh, it gets better because the Joker's going to be NBA MVP.
Wow.
The Indiana Fever, a team full of white girls, is going to kick everybody's ass this year. Cooper Flagg's going to go number one in the NBA draft. We got a white cornerback killing it. Shedeur Sanders is going to go like number 9 or 10 in the draft and end up someplace getting his ass kicked.
I'm done with you. You've got to go. You got to go. Isn't it enough? He comes here to just stir the pot and make me uncomfortable. God bless him. Let's get another check of the traffic and weather with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. Sometimes I got to take a break.
Yeah, really.
You are saving me, Mark. You have no idea.
Kick your feet up a few minutes.
Yeah.
If you're heading into Hartford right now, 84 eastbound, delays a half mile before 46th Avenue to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 slows approaching the Bulkley.
Yeah, they're not going to let Joker win the MVP, though.
Who do you think is going to give it to?
SGA.
After you get around.
Because it happens that SGA should have won it last year, but they gave it to Joker. So now SGA has the best record in the NBA.
291.
And he's averaging 33 points a game, so they're going to give it to him.
Who the hell
West
is
Merch,
SGA?
Quiet Middletown. 84 eastbound, Waterbury slow.
For OKC?
Eastbound in
Is that
Waterbury
the
slows
kid, the young kid?
20,
Yeah.
25, and again as you approach the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound.
He was supposed to get it last year, but they gave it to Jokic. Now they're going to reverse it, unfortunately. And it's unfortunate because this was the best year Jokic ever played. So
5 southbound delays 46 to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, partly cloudy, breezy tonight, chilly with the low down to 36. Sunny, breezy, and warmer as we head through Thursday. The warming trend kicking off for us, going right on into the weekend. The high 59 on Thursday. Friday, cloudy, breezy in the afternoon. A brief shower or two, but otherwise the high up to 65. Saturday, clouds with some breaks of sun, breezy and warmer. Couple of showers around, but otherwise a nice day. But pollen levels going to be very high, allergy sufferers. The high up to 77 on Saturday. Sunday, partly sunny, breezy, not as warm, but still pleasant with the high of 67 for us on Sunday. Right now, 49 in Bristol, 48 in Mansfield, 50 in New London, also 50 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Tune in to WTIC News Talk 1080 for Healthy Rounds, Saturday mornings 11 till noon. Learn from the top experts about the latest medical news and call in with your questions. Healthy Rounds, sponsored by Hartford Healthcare, Saturday mornings 11 till noon on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, the last encores. August 2nd at Mohegan Sun Arena. Get tickets Friday, 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818.
That's 800-215-6818.
Listen up, Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. So let's do it again and get vaccinated. We're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults under 50. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com to schedule. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Seems everything costs more these days.
1 minute.
Groceries? And when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20.
Here we go.
Thank you.
CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, there's an extensive article that's in the UK Daily Mail with regards to Carmelo Anthony, the young man who stabbed Austin Metcalf. The UK Daily Mail has this story. This is, in fact, they were sitting outside of his home, and they have been watching as deliveries and everything's been showing up at the house. The new car in question, according to the UK Daily Mail, their article reads like this. He got a new car. If you look at the license plate, he's got a paper tag on it that says expires June 4th. The resident who asked that to remain anonymous shared. He actually took a picture of it. The lavish lifestyle is in stark contrast to the cash struggles of Anthony's father. Andrew Anthony claimed to have in court where the parent claimed that he was the sole breadwinner. Prosecutors grilled Anthony over how he could not use more than $439,000 as of Tuesday night in donated funds for his son's defense to pay the $1 million bond. So according to this, and again, they're looking at the town, watching all the deliveries come by. People are getting food. They're looking outside the house. So just, I'll actually post it on my Facebook page so you guys can get a look at and read the article. People, again, and look, this is the part that I said earlier. Jumping behind Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, George Floyd. You cannot convince people who are dyed in the wool, people on these subjects. It must be what we say it is. It must be. And instead of just taking the L, it's screaming and hollering for us to provide proof. Prove it, prove it, prove it, prove it. Never doing any of the research on their own. Why? Because if they do, what do they do then? If they actually realize, then they have to do it all the time. But let me put it this way. I'm going to really, really be honest here. Drug addicts need drugs. They do. Until they go into recovery. They need them. Alcoholics need alcohol. Can't live without it. Racialists need racism. Can't live without it. Can't. There's no cold turkey for them. To deny it is tantamount to death. That's what addictions are. And everybody's got them. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't have to be drugs. Doesn't have to be alcohol. It can be racism. It can be prejudice. Addictions are addictions. Everybody has them. And when something has to be what you think it is, it has to be that thing, it's hard to let it go. Sometimes it's survival. Because once it's dispelled, how am I going to live now? I thought about that when I quit drinking. I said, am I going to be able to watch football anymore? I going to be able to go party and dance with my wife if I don't go and get a drink at the bar? How am I going to be able to do that? How am I going to live? That's been a fabric of my life. And then I actually started to realize it had nothing to do with the life. Nothing to do with it. That's how addictions work. And everybody has something that they're addicted to. Doesn't have to be just everybody's got the bad stuff they're addicted to. Same thing with sex. Same things with everything. If it's bad for you and you think that it's keeping you alive, fear of being without it, how can you let it go? Some people think that this racial divide, if they let it go, how will they be able to cope in life? If I can't turn my head on a swivel, how do I coast through life? If I let my guard down, that's when they'll get me. Sometimes you have to let that go. Sometimes you have to grab it, put it down, and walk away. Let God do the rest. I know a lot of people don't always believe in God, but let God do the rest. God's got you. You have no control over this at all. None. So stop acting like it. Let it go. And if you start singing that song from the Disney movie when I said it, if you're doing it now, you have a problem. Just letting you know that right now. Every time I say it in my house, my wife's. That's it. Let's go to my good friend Matt in Bristol. Hey, Matt.
Hello, Mr. Hopkins. Long time.
What's up, buddy?
So, yeah, I just want to say something about those snap cards. So, you know, I've seen it a lot of times, and I've been into a lot of bogadas in my life.
Yes, bogadas.
Bogadas, yes. No, but seriously, so, yeah, a lot of so, first of all, like, a lot of them, they have, like, a certain amount for groceries, and then they have a certain amount that's just straight cash. So if they're at the grocery store and they get cash back, it doesn't mean they're necessarily taking it off of the snap part, because a lot of them are, like, connected.
Oh, you're saying it's connected to their overall, like, in essence, they both can be one and the same, so to speak.
Yeah.
So my regular,
it's
like,
on the same card.
Right. If I'm with Bank of America and I have an EBT card, these two are conjoined in some way?
Well, like, so the EBT card, it'll say, okay, you have X amount of dollars per month for groceries, and then you have X amount of dollars just for dollars.
Gotcha.
Just straight cash. So I have seen that before with the.
Okay, well, that's something interesting. It shows how out of step I am with the whole, what do you call it, a food stamp program. Like I said, I haven't been on it since I was a kid. And I'm way back in the, you know, as what's name talked about earlier, the whole paper book thing. That was the bane of my existence.
Yes, and that's why they stopped doing that, because it was embarrassing for people, which I do get.
I don't get it. I think, listen, that's, it's sort of like, and I know this sounds crazy, I feel like everything in life should have a little bit of shame. Right? There should be, there are measurements of shame that a person should have in order to be better, right? Sometimes, if, like, as a young kid, I'll never forget the girl who was at the grocery store. My mom sent me to the store, and I had to go get milk and eggs and whatever, and she gave me a booklet of food stamps. And then the next aisle was a girl who I went to school with, who was the prettiest girl in school, and she was actually noticing me. And I got to the counter, and she was at the other counter, and she turned around and looked at me, and she waved and said hello. And I was stuck, and I knew I was going to have to pull out those food stamps, and I did. And she laughed with her girlfriend, laughed so hard. Yeah. And you know what? There was no way I was ever going on food stamps in my life after that.
And Reese, and that's part of it, because you were a child, and you shouldn't have been ashamed, and that's horrible.
Yeah, but you know what? I still look back on that story, and trust me, as I was talking about it, I was actually transported back there. I kind of felt like that pride, like, of course I shouldn't have felt awful. I was a kid. My mom sent me to the store. But there was something about that just said, I don't ever want to, like, you know, there are people who are going to laugh at you. But for me, it motivated me to say, I'm always going to work hard. I'm never going to be that person who's on food stamps. Now, it doesn't mean I look down on people who do. It just means it wasn't for me, because I understood that shame motivated me. And some people have that. Sometimes shame motivates you in a positive way.
Oh, trust me, my whole life is shame. So I'm with you.
Poor Matt. I promise you it's not that bad, buddy. But I got you back. I got you back no matter what. Thank you, buddy, as always. You got it. All right, get on phones, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Last but not least, caller coming up. So you can win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds. Let me play this piece. My wife, Mrs. On the Radio, Roseanne, you might know her. She's going to be back here on Friday for Ladies' Night, by the way, at 5 o'clock. Harry Enton asked a question that my wife's friend Scotty asked her the other day. And he just calls her up on the phone. She wasn't sure why, but he got on the phone to ask her, hey, I bet you regret your vote now. And she was like, why? And she was like, what, all the stuff that Donald Trump's doing? She's like, no. Everything he's doing, I voted for. And then as I'm listening to their conversation, I'm figuring it out. We have spent all of our time understanding what Democrats think, feel, how they act, why they act. They've got no interest in what we think. On the opposite side, they have no interest in that. They've never dove in, never did a deep dive in understanding. They don't understand it. Remember, that's what they think of us anyway, right? It was like, come on, what's wrong with them? Are they crazy? What's going on? They're all zombies. They don't even care to understand what we voted for. All they know is Trump bad. That's it. Trump evil. So they look at everything from their own point of view. This is how they're never going to get out of their own way. Because seeing it their way, that's enlightened. Anything outside of that, mind-numb robot. Even though, truthfully, it's the other way around. So listen. This is Harry Enton on CNN. He is their polling god. Or guru, as it were. So they asked the question, with everything that's going on under the Trump administration, are there any Trump supporters who are regretting their vote?
Let's talk about Trump voters and how they feel. Do they regret their vote? I mean, this is the big question, right? I hear all these stories, all these articles. All the Trump voters, they regret what they did back in 2024. I'm here to tell you, very few of them regret what they did back in 2024. What are we talking about? Trump voters looking back at 2024. We got a new poll out. The poll was conducted this month. What percentage would change their vote to a different candidate? We're talking just 2%, just 2%. That's not even a wide spot on the road. And then there's this additional 1% who say they would rather not vote. We're talking overall under 5% might or would have changed their vote, Donald Trump voters back in 2024. And then you ask, okay, the same question to Kamala Harris voters, and it turns out the numbers are rather similar. So if there was a repeat, if folks got to be able to redo their vote that they had back in 2024, would the result be any different? I doubt it would be. I doubt it would be, or it would still be extremely close. The bottom line is, for all this talk of Trump voters regretting their vote, in the numbers, it really just doesn't show up.
That's got to be depressing. Hate to be that guy. Sucks to be you, bro. Yeah, we're all in. We're all in. If he is disappointing, it's minute. To be honest with you, I haven't seen anything that I'm remotely upset about at all. That I can say, to be honest with you, I keep forgetting that he's literally got more than 3.5 years left. We're barely 100 days in. We're barely a third of the year in. He's done so much. I got nothing to be disappointed about. He's been phenomenal. In my view, that's all I'm saying. Let's get to our last but not least caller of the day, and it is Jane in Bloomfield.
Hi, Reese.
Hi,
I want to
Jane.
tell you what my addiction is coffee. I have to have my coffee in the morning or else I can't survive.
I know some people who don't. I don't know if you ever seen that T-shirt that says, "Don't even talk to me. I haven't had my coffee yet." Something like that. My wife is like that. Coffee is her thing. I have got to make it. And she will not let anyone else make coffee other than me. So I totally get that. That was a big thing for me. I drank so much coffee. I'll tell you this, Jane. Back in the 90s, I drank so much coffee, I developed an ulcer. I would do 5 16 ounces a day. That's how much coffee I used to do. Yeah. Are you that bad or
Did
just
you get
maybe
the
like...
jitters?
Yeah, I would get the jitters. Do you do that much? How many cups do you have? And do you drink coffee after the morning, like in the afternoon?
I do not. I only do it in the morning. But what happened to me one time, and I did not know this, I had some in the afternoon, a couple. All of a sudden, I'm getting the shakes, and I didn't know, and I thought, uh-oh, what's wrong with me? So one of the girls at work said, here, eat these crackers. You're drinking too much coffee. And I did, oh, my God, I got so scared.
Yeah, I use that right now, and I trust me, I make sure of it. Right now, I won't have any coffee. Once it hits noon, I will not have any more coffee. I treat it like a breakfast beverage from now on. Jane, congratulations. We're going to get you a between rounds, a dozen bagels a month for 6 months. And always thank you for checking out the show.
Thank you. You're so good. I enjoy listening to you. I learned so much from you.
Thank you so much, Jane. Now that's a hell of a compliment. That's almost as good as a dozen bagels a month. I love you. Let me put you on hold. It's time for me to get up out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I'm Reese On The Radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. Go to Facebook right now, and you can hear that Jackie Robinson story I was talking about with Lori in Glastonbury. So check that out. Jason Caterina's got your weather, and Mark Christopher is in a BPS traffic center. Good night, Mark.
Reese, have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. This traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. And if you're traveling west...
Oh, right, good, sir.
What was homeboy's name again?
84 eastbound, moving well now.
I'm going to reach out to
Farmington
him.
Out into Vernon.
Damn, I forgot.
What are you? He used to be the overnight news guy?
That's what he said. Al Smith or some shit like that.
Al
If you are
Smith. Okay,
traveling
I'll look him up.
291, 384,
All right,
that
thanks,
looks
boss.
east of the river.
Yes, sir. See you tomorrow.
You got it.
Glastonbury to Marlboro, quiet Middletown, heading toward Waterbury, 84 westbound, slightly slow on the Mixmaster, 84 eastbound in Danbury.
Some guy trying to tell me what I'm better than. Yeah, Reese, you're better than that. I don't think you know me. Oh, man, I apologize for the Facebook thing. We'll work it out. I promise I'll try to fix it by tomorrow. I apologize for anybody who had to switch over to Rumble or anything, but we'll work on it. Sokolowski, ATJ is never going to get a white nonsense. He's never. He is going to be a grown-up, and he is going to accept the show that I do. Yeah, that'll be it. Or, he'll call, make complaints, Call the program director, brand manager. Call corporate. Let him know that Negro nonsense is racist or whatever it might be. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Okay? I'll do me. I love you guys. Y'all be good to each other.